My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
Three, two, one.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulated test driver.
So it's 1.4 behind.
This opportunity is huge.
That's it, 46.1. That's faster than the factory McLaren driver, and he's done 6 laps.
Let's go race.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first week of September and the Hammerdown Racing League Labor Day Classic presented by VLR. This is the RaceSpotTV side of the stream. We will be having qualifying server number 2. Mr. Brett Wheeler will be doing the other qualifying server, and then we will be bringing you the feature event in just a little bit. Full night of racing on tap for tonight. Nearly 100 plus drivers competing for just a handful of starting spots in the feature event this evening to duke it out for thousands of dollars in prizes. On this side of the show, myself and Tommy Rowe bringing you all the action. And Tommy, we're already getting ready for heat racing.
All ready for heat racing. 60 drivers in this server, 60 drivers in heat server number 1, competing for 24 spots, $1,500 to win later on tonight, Randy.
So we'll bring it up after this heat race. We will show you the full format for tonight. But we have heat race number 1 gridding up. On that front row, Dylan Wilson and DJ Kilanowski, will Hayden Cardwell and Lucas Chowning on row 2. Dan Smolders, Justin Norwood on row 3. Jeremy Caprone, Cole Harvey on row 4. Colton Collins, Brad Dyer, row 5. Rounding out the tail end of the field, you have Adam Leike and Justin Wilson as they go racing in towards corners number 1 and 2. See that 80 and the 36. They get clear. The 15 and the 47. They're going to be duking it out for third. First side-by-side battle on the racetrack.
First side-by-side battle on the racetrack. Top 3 drivers will transfer directly over in tonight's sub-feature number 1. They'll take the top 12 drivers from there. Currently side-by-side battle for third between Lucas Chowning and DJ Kilanowski.
So they're still duking it out here closely for this third spot in heat race number 1. Top 3 will go directly to the feature of this server. And now keep in mind, there will be essentially 2 different qualifying features at once. We will explain that after this heat race. Side by side, 99 to the 15. Down the back straight and in towards 3 and 4. We're coming to lap 5 of 15 for heat race number 1.
Almost 1/3 of the way done. Lucas Chowning holding on to that third and final transfer spot, but the 99 of Dan Smolders right on his heels for that third and final transfer spot. And fourth, they make a little contact going into turn number 3 and 4.
A little bit of contact as these guys are getting aggressive, because getting your way into that qualifying feature early is hugely important. 47 to the 99. Chowning and Dan Smolders, a little bit of contact. Once again, you can tell that 99 wants that last transfer spot, and Chowning wants to hold on to it. He's going to pretty much mirror drive, I think, as far as this heat race is concerned, coming to halfway in heat race number 1. 47 comes across the stripe. It's still Dylan Wilson and Hayden Carwell out in front. 0.7 of a second separates those two between first and second. But those guys aren't going to be too crazy. We got caution out there on the racetrack.
Yellow flag on the racetrack. Justin Wilson in the 7 car gets it turned around. He's up into the pits now. See if he can't pull back out on the racetrack, tag the rear of the field.
So he's trying to figure out, I think, how to not get a penalty, and he just went through the commitment cone, so I think he is going to get a penalty. So 7 car not going to like that whatsoever. That'll put him at the back of the field. He'll have to do this the hard way through. So caution flag early here in heat race number 1. And it's going to be a long night tonight here that we have going for us, Tommy, because 15 laps per heat race. We have 5 heat races lined up. Then we have our qualifying mains, the D main, C main, B main, and then a 40-lap qualifying B main, then a 100-lap feature event at the end of the night.
Long night ahead of us, Randy. Should be a lot of fun. We got bad fast drivers here in server number 2 as well as server number 1. I believe the pace truck's getting set to pull in here in just a moment. Oh, maybe one more time around the racetrack. Dylan Wilson, Hayden Cardwell looking pretty good. That battle was heating up for that 3rd place spot, though.
And that's what we need to watch as the green flag flies. Dylan Wilson gets on it from that race lead. See that number 36 of Hayden Cardwell. He gets into that 2nd spot. Fight's going to be on for 3rd. Dan Smolders sees that upper line with the 36 car. Where did he come from? That's Hayden Cardwell. He's going to be a part of this fight as well. 3 wide for that 2nd spot in the 99 of Dan Smolders. A little bit of contact with Luke Chowning, and that puts him into the transfer spot. Coming to 2 laps to go.
Hayden Cardwell running that very outside all the way up against the wall, holding on to that 2nd place spot. The 99 of Dan Smolders finds his way around the 47 of Chowning, and that's your 3rd and final transfer spot here in heat race number 1. Remember, only the top 3 drivers will transfer over directly to tonight's feature event, where they'll compete for 12 spots for $1,500 to win later on tonight.
White flag waves here in heat race number 1. The 47 of Luke Chowning wants to get this job done and get there, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Dylan Wilson's going to take the win in heat race number 1. Hayden Cardwell and Dan Smolders, they will be the happy campers, the happy trio that transfers through heat race number 1 and goes to the 40-lap qualifying feature here in server number 1. See the rest of your field on screen right now, but let's take a quick look at our format for this evening. We'll fade this in. So this is the actual format we have. 5 total heats, 12 cars, 15 laps. Top 3 transfer directly to the qualifying feature in this server. D main will be 12 laps, once again top 4. C main will be 15 laps, top 4. Then the B main will be 20 laps, top 5. And then we have a 40-lap, essentially B main. You can think of it, there's a B main in this server and a B main in the other server that set up the big grid grid at the end of the night. That will grid the 24 drivers for our 100 lap feature. And talking about grids, let's take a look at the starting grid for heat race number 2. Dylan Hauser and Alex Bergeron are going to be on that front row with Garrett Robinson and Patrick Solari starting on the second row. Virgil Graham, Colin Slife on row number 3 with Drew Hopkins and Alex McCollum on row 4. Jason Reed, Alton Parsons on row 5 with Jared Crumbrine and Brian Wax on row number 6. So 12 more cars getting ready to do battle here, Tommy, as they're getting ready to let them loose down the back straight.
Well, some pretty good racing here at heat race number 1. Brand new update from iRacing today. Updates on the tracks and the cars themselves. Looks like it made the racing pretty good here in heat race number 1. We'll see how it plays out here in heat race number 2.
Dylan Hauser, the pole man here. He's going to stretch away, but not by much, as Alex Bergeron is going to keep him honest. But it's that bubble spot we need to be watching, because for Garrett Robinson, he currently holds it. We get an early caution here in heat race number 1. The 157 of Drew Hopkins is around.
Tough break for the 157. See if he can't tag to rear of the field, join the rest of the pack, and try to make this show here later on tonight. He's got a long way to go to do so.
One of the things that's really going to kind of throw a curveball in this event, Tommy, is the fact that we have cautions enabled for these heat races. So the heat races are a lot longer than I think these drivers are typically used to. They're usually used to about, what, 6-8 laps, something in that realm. Here we have caution laps and 15-lap heats. That means the field will actually get reset potentially, which doesn't happen for any of these guys in the likes of the World of Outlaw, the Twin Craftsman World Championship Series, really any of the leagues, to my knowledge. They don't tend to run with cautions enabled in these races. And this is just, it's going to really... If you're up at the front of the field, you can't ever feel that you're safe because a single caution just resets it, whereas normally you get out front in a heat race, you're pretty much just golden as long as you don't do something silly and smack the wall.
First time I've seen this used in a format, in any type of dirt format here on iRacing, where we have cautions in the heat races. Also got to keep in mind that if a caution comes out within the last 2 or 3 laps, this race will be over. So these guys have got to be very cautious.
So green flag back in the air here as they scream down the front straightaway. See Alex Bergeron trying to hook up that top side on Dylan Hauser. Not going to quite be able to. 42 and 16. Virgil Graham and Garrett Robinson, they're duking it out. That's Virgil Graham trying to get the move done. And before he can get it, caution flies. Who is actually going to get given the position? I'm not sure. See who brought out this yellow. Can't actually see who brought this one out. So maybe
not
a bit of a half.
Not quite sure who brought this one out.
Brian Wax, perhaps. We'll roll a replays. I think this might be who it was. Oh, no, I think it's the 157 again of Drew Hopkins.
Tough break for Drew Hopkins, struggling here at heat race number 2.
So watching the replay, riding on board with Mr. Hopkins right now. He heads down in towards corners number 3 and 4. There's a contact. You see, he didn't technically go all the way around, but I think that spin was just enough for the sim to trigger that as a spin and throw the yellow. So the field gets reset once again. Now we're working lap number 9 of 15. They're going to be coming to green, Tommy, with 6 to go.
Only 6 to go, and these drivers were 2-3 wide there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, even on back to 5th and 6th. Handful of laps left, short time to get there. Let's see how it pans out.
So green through the entry of corner number 3 for Dylan Hauser. Bergeron tries to hook up the top. It gave Virgil Graham that 3rd position here with not a lot of laps left, but Mr. Robinson is hooked up on that top side. Let's see, can he get the run down the front straightaway? No, not quite. The 42 of Virgil Graham still holds on to that last transfer spot. Dylan Hauser gets put into the wall, and he falls down as well. The 12 of Alex Bergeron, our 2 race leaders, go from out in front and safe to they make a silly mistake, Tommy, and now the 2 fastest drivers in this heat are going to have to race their way in basically what may be only a single lap hot lap session if we even go back to green flag racing. So the 2 and the 12, big mistake there, duking it out for the win.
That'll knock Alex Bergeron all the way back to the 11th place position. Probably have to put him in the D main here in one of the sub features tonight. Dylan Hauser sitting back there in 6th at the moment. What a break for Virgil Graham, running back there at 3rd in the 4th place spot. He's now your race leader, maybe coming to a white flag lap with 1 lap to go here in heat race number 2.
So you saw it on the replay. It all started with that 2 car pretty much getting himself into the wall. And let's see, we'll have to keep an eye on that iRacing safety truck, see if those lights go out or not. They do, so we will get a single lap of competition here to decide it. The 42 of Virgil Graham being in the control car, he should be safe. But for Garrett Robinson, Alex McCollum, they need to be very, very careful because there's a very aggressive Dylan Hauser there behind. You see people trying to predict the start, jumping it, and that's going to fan the whole field out. Virgil Graham pretty much safe, I think. The 16 is 3 wide with the 2 in the 86. Dylan trying to get himself back into that transfer spot. Here comes that 16 car in second. Hauser somehow gets himself back into P2, and he's going to take that third transfer spot here in heat race number 2. Man, oh man, Tommy, a lot of drama at the end of this one. It'll be interesting to see how the stewards react to some of that.
What an aggressive drive by Dylan Hauser. Got to give him credit where credit's due. Making do with what he had, getting himself into the feature. Alex Bergeron all the way back to 6th. He restarted 11th, so a good drive from him as well. Maybe save himself for a B or C main here later on tonight.
So heat race number 3 coming at you right now. And let's take a quick look at the starting grid there. You see Blake Machuls and Drew Herchko on that front row. Then you have Cole Falloway and Ben Nading on that second row. Adam Elby and Thomas Coggins on row number 3. Brayton Wallace and John Kennedy on row 4. Jesse Isidore and Scott Mueller on row 5, with Danny Burkhardt and Ryan Martin rounding out the 12-car field for heat race number 3. And the thing I love about these events, Tommy, I remember it during the spring fling. I think we had a similar situation when we did another special event with them as well when they ran the modified. I was technically supposed to work that event but got sick. Justin Prince ended up covering me for it. Is you get some of the big names from the iRacing service, but you get a lot of guys who you don't typically see racing a lot of these events. And it's always interesting to see how those new names can come up and really do battle with some of the best on the sim.
Quite a few names in this heat race alone that I don't see often on the iRacing circuit. There are probably a couple of late model ringers, maybe only run the late model events. Let's see how it plays out here in heat race number 3 as Blake Matiulis jumps out to the early lead.
That's going to be a name I think we struggle with all night. As that 127 gets out in front, Drew Herchko, the very familiar number in that 26 car, takes that second spot. You see up top, you see the 44 Cole Calloway trying to defend his last transfer spot. The 75 gets sent to the wall behind him. Those two, the 75 and the 28, tangle down the front straight and in towards 1 and 2, but we're going to stay green. That 75 car pulls out in front of the 024, gets sent around. Likely going to trigger a caution, but not yet. So for Adam Elby, that's pretty much night done as the caution finally flies. But he's going to end up 1 lap down. So for this heat race for Mr. Elby, not going the way he would like. Let's see, he is getting... Did he get the wave around? I'm not sure if he did or not. The leader kind of raced him to the line there, which may have... Nope, 75 is indeed getting the wave around here. So we'll stay on the lead lap at least, but he gets sent to the back of the heat.
Yeah, I think he kind of stayed on the bottom of the racetrack thinking that the caution would wave. It never came out. It finally came out, put him a lap down, but I believe he will get the wave around. We have one completed lap in the books, I do believe. Blake Matiulis still your race leader. Drew Herchko second, and Thomas Coggins holding on to that third and final transfer spot at the moment.
Yep, drivers, of course, can be very aggressive just behind that number 89, Cole Falloway, Brayton Wallace. And talking about this build, Tommy, I mean, you know, there's changes to the cars and the way the setups works. There's changes to the actual surface that these guys are having to deal with. And, I mean, this build released sometime around 1 or 2 p.m. my time Pacific, and it's, you know, currently, you know, 5:30. So for a lot of these guys, it's only been about 3.5, 4 hours for them to really toy with these changes to these cars and to these tracks. So for a lot of guys, it really is a blank slate. We're back to green in heat race number 3.
Blake Matiulis jumps out to a great lead, but Drew Herchko's right on his tail for second, and Cole Falloway settles down into the third place spot, but he's got a hungry Thomas Coggins on the inside.
A lot of aggressiveness getting shown early here as Cole Falloway is going to just comfortably slot into that third position for now. The 89 running P4 with Brayton Wallace in P number 5 just behind. So tightly contested for the last transfer spot here in heat race number 3 in towards 1 and 2. See that 44 Cole Falloway? He is, I think, reeling in those two leaders just a little bit. At least he was before he found the outside wall through 1 and 2.
Paul Falloway just bounces it off the wall just barely, allows the 89 of Thomas Coggins to close in the gap. But Cole Falloway, he's the only driver right now running that outside line all the way up at the top of the racetrack, trying to make something happen as he goes on the inside of Drew Hertzko for the second spot.
Hertzko saw him running that high line. He's going to try it out for himself. Don't think he's a fan, but Cole Calloway, he has the position here. Can he get the run off the corner? Hertzko, you see the way that top line works, getting that momentum off the corner. The 44 going to have the advantage on entry, though, but still, Drew Hertzko able to pull clear.
Blake Monteula still holding on to the race lead at the moment as we come around to 3 laps to go this time. Thomas Coggins got to love what he's seen as Drew Hertzko's in the wall.
26 of Drew Hertzko. The trend of big names continuing to choke continues. And the 26 of Hertzko goes from comfortably in a transfer spot to the outside looking in. So the 26 now has to reel in that number 89, and he finds the outside wall again, and Brayton Wallace is up the inside of the head in towards 1 and 2. So for Drew Hertzko, he might fall back another spot and might just kill his dreams of transferring. And as they come to the white, I don't think Hertzko has enough time to get to that 89.
Go all the way back to the 4th, even 5th spot at the moment, but a huge battle from Brayton Wallace as Wallace is looking to the inside for that 4th spot. He makes contact with Hertzko, but cut around to the white flag. Blake Monteula at the 127 is going to take home the checker flag here in heat race number 3.
So it's going to be Monteula, Falloway, and Coggins who take the transfer spots here. Drew Hertzko was so close, but yet so far. He's going to have to do it through one of the qualifying mains here tonight. Brayton Wallace, P5, Benjamin Nading, Adam Elby, Jesse Isidore, John Kennedy, Danny Burkhart. Your top 10, and then of course your final 2, Ryan Martin and Scott Mueller. Here, race number 4 getting gridded up right now. Let's take a look at the starting grid here. Mason Crawford and Austin Selman on that front row. It's Kendall Tucker and Justin Thompson on row number 2. Austin Carr, Jacob Leberstein on row 3 with Cody Cantonwine and Steven Spies on row number 4. Bailey Cardwell, Eric Elmore on row 5, and starting all by himself at the back, lonely Dustin Hall in the 11 car fourth heat race.
Heat race number 4 of 5 here. It's going by pretty fast, Randy, as we got Mason Crawford, Austin Simmelman here on the front row. A lot of very noticeable names here at heat race number 4, including Austin Carr, Jacob Leverstein.
Yeah, a lot of guys that you've seen do battle. Austin Carr has been pretty successful the last handful of rounds in the iRacing World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series. Austin Selman, he's a driver that has really struggled on that front all season. I think we all kind of expected him to be a lot more competitive, a lot more consistent than he has been. Well, he's been consistent. He's just unfortunately been consistently finding the wall in those races. As that iRacing safety truck's going to peel off on the pit road. The 119 of Mason Crawford in command of the field. The 81 car, excuse me, I'm used to calling him the 18. Times it well on the outside. We are green for heat race number 4.
Mason Crawford with a good jump. Austin Simmelman settles into the 2nd place spot as the 00 of Kendall Tucker turned around in 3rd.
Big incident there. I think 3 or 4 different cars pretty much involved in that one. Replay coming up on your screens following that incident. See Kendall Tucker happening towards 3 and 4, and did he come up or did one of those guys come down? Looks like he tried to come up the racetrack. That number 98 machine pretty much just got in the rear of him and sent him around. Not much Kendall could do there.
Not much the 98 could do as well, as Kendall Tucker comes up the racetrack just a little bit, gets into the 98's line and gets turned around.
So these guys continue pacing here. As we said, there are 2 different streams happening right now. Mr. Brett Wheeler is doing the, we're technically in server 2. He's technically in server 1. You can find that on the Hammer Down Facebook page. So another server that's set up exactly like this one with 60 other drivers. And that's the other thing, Tommy, about this race. 120 drivers, 24 spots duking it out at the end of the night. 24 spots, $1,500 to win. You got to know that all 120 of these drivers want one of those 24 spots very badly. As we're back to green here with the 119 of Mason Crawford and Austin Simmelman sitting in the 2nd place spot. And here comes Austin Carr on the outside. Got a handful of World Championship drivers here lined up behind this race leader as we get another caution flag out here. Who's that? Stopped in corner number 3 and 4. That's going to be Cody Cantlewine. So replay of what happened to this number 10 car just as out in front. Things were starting to get heated up just a little bit. 10 machine you see was duking out with the 55 of Steven Spies. And just pretty much similar situation, just nose to tail contact, lights spin around. Nothing really hard. No foul, really, I think. We should still have all cars clear and out there running. But talk about Mason Crawford here, lined up behind him. A handful of big names, Austin Silliman, Austin Carr, and Jacob Leverstein. That is a pretty fast trio to have in your rearview mirror coming to the end of a heat race.
Mason Crawford, a very fast driver. You don't really see him run a lot of official races. You see him more in the hosted session here on the iRacing circuit. A very well-known, very fast race car driver sitting on that point right now.
Lights still on the iRacing safety truck. I think they need to get the alignment set up correctly, I do believe, because we were getting ready to go green, and then that was actually race control that threw that caution manually. So we should have just one extra caution lap here in this one. And Tommy, I know you're a little bit more active with the dirt guys than I am. Who's sort of your pick? Who's your favorite to win? If you had to, if you were a gamble man, had to put some money down in Las Vegas, who would be your pick to win the whole thing?
If I had to pick somebody to win the whole thing right now, it's hard to bet against Dylan Wilson. He set on the pole here in server number 2, started on the pole for heat race number 1, took home the win. He'll be a very tough competitor here later on tonight.
We're back to Green Flag Racing, heat race number 4, logging lap number 10 of 15. You see that 119 car has a lot of company, but Austin Solomon has company as well. 777 of Jacob Leverstein trying to hook up that bottom groove, but it seems that racetrack is moving to the higher side, and that's where you need to be in order to be quick. 777 still keeping Austin honest though, but Austin has that preferred lane as one of Austin car pulls nearly alongside that 119.
Austin Carr running that outside line. Looks like he might get a run here on Mason Crawford for the race. Leaders are coming around to 3 laps to go next time. 2 laps to go next time by.
So 3 laps on the books here this next time through. Austin Carr side by side with that 119 machine. We think that upper groove might be where the pace is, but right now, Mr. Crawford's doing a good job down low. But you see that one car slowly reeling in that advantage. He's going to nose out in front by the time he gets to the timing beam here. 2 laps to go in heat race number 4. We're still side by side for the lead, and it's going to be the one of Austin Carr who just about pulls clear down the back straightaway. Off of 4, they're going to come, and Austin is clear out in front.
White flag in the air. One more time around the racetrack. Austin Carr started in 5th. He's up to the race lead. Mason Crawford holding on to 2nd. Austin Silliman sitting 3rd. Jacob Leverstein 1 second, but it's going to be Austin Silliman taking home the 3rd and final transfer spot here in heat race number 4.
So it's going to be Austin Carr who takes a victory after that 4th heat race. And as I hit the wrong button, I bring up the results for the wrong heat. Now we should be having the right one in DVD. So Austin Carr, Mason Crawford, Austin Selman, those are your transferees. Leverstein on the outside looking in, pretty much the most notable name, I think, from this grid to not get punch his ticket directly to the feature. Justin Thompson, Eric Elmore, Kendall Tucker, Steven Spies, Cody Cantwine, Dustin Hall, your top 10, and then Bailey Cardwell rounds out your top 5. We've been through 4, and we have 1 more. Your starting grid for the final heat race of the evening looks like this. Tyler Ducarme, Cole Newhoffen on that front row with David Heileman and David Sutton on row number 2. Ronald Piles, Britton Roxbury on row 3 with James Underwood and Lewis Clark on row 4. Richard Spar, Eric Fargo on row 5, and Jackson Lewis will round out the tail of this 11-car heat race. So 15 laps, 1 more qualifying race to go here, Tommy. And once again, it's going to be pretty tightly contested, and we got some big names in this one as well, with the likes of Ducarme, Heileman, and Newhoffen all starting out front. Also Roxbury, that 421 car starting in the mid-pack.
Yeah, very surprised at where Britton Roxbury starting here in this 5th and final heat race. Keep your eye on that 21 of David Heileman. He's won just about every big race lately that's been put on by Team VLR, including the Jason Johnson Memorial, Wicked Cushion, Knoxville Shootout, and many others. That 21 of David Heileman, he'll sure be the driver to watch here at heat race number 5.
Let's see what he can do as they roll down the back straightaway to bring us to green flag racing. A little bit of contact I hear in the back. Not quite sure what it was. Shouldn't be serious, but we are green. And that number 9 of Tyler Ducarme gets off to a good job out in front. Black car with black numbers. He really only identify it with that big X on those rear fender wells.
Big black X right there for Tyler Ducarme. Your race leaders, we got a big battle right there. 3 wide for 2nd between Cole Newhoff and David Heileman. I believe that's David Sutton right there in the middle as well.
The 8, excuse me, of Cole Newhoffen still working that top side. David Heilman locked in the middle. Now he gets himself up top. 421 of Britton Roxbury. He's trying to come blazing through this field side by side with the 97 car. Started in that 6th spot. He's already working on P number 4 right now. 97, little issue down low. That's going to cause a little bit of a stack up and let the 421 slip on through for free.
Little contact between the 97, looks like the 68 of Ronald Piles. 3-4 wide racing right there for that third and final transfer spot. We get a caution on the racetrack.
So we'll see what happened to this 68. It was the 97. That was actually the car we saw tangle with that 97 machine down coming off of corner number 4. And then the 19, I just don't think he even really saw him. Basically drove right across his nose on the entry into 1 and sent him right around. So another light little contact brings out a yellow. Is going to reset the field. Tyler Ducarme, I don't think is going to be too happy with that because he had a nice little gap out at the front of the field.
Tyler Ducarme had to love what he's seeing in his rearview mirror. If he runs a rearview mirror, most guys claim they don't, but they probably do. Cole Newhoffen sitting there in second.
Yeah, racing drivers aren't known for being particularly honest.
Most like to claim that they don't run the rearview mirror, and then some will run their streams, and you're like, oh, yeah, there you go.
So, lights out on the iRacing safety truck. So we will be getting a restart right here, right now. See that all black machine with the wet bandits on the hood. So let's see as they head through corners number 3 and 4. Number 9 of Ducarme. We're going to get on it early. Green flag back in the air in our final heat race of the night.
Britton Roxbury in that very bright pink car started in 6th. He's up to 3rd, running that outside line as Tyler Ducarme still holding on to the race lead. Here comes Roxbury looking for 2nd over Cole Newhoffen.
Still trying to get there, that 421 machine, but I don't think he's going to be overly aggressive being in a transfer spot. See that 21 of David Heilman. He's side by side right now with the 97 of David Sutton. 6 laps to go as they get to the stripe. That 97 car locked down low. David just can't quite get clear.
Single file 1 through 3 right now. Close. Best battle on the racetrack is for 4th between David Sutton and David Heilman, as most of the drivers have worked their way up to the outside racing line right now. Seems to be the preferred fast line around the racetrack.
4 laps to go. They get to the stripe right here, right now. That 21 car still working that upper groove. Going to just about get clear off of corner number 2. He could get, pretty much slide up to the outside. But, of course, that 5th place driver wants to be battling with that 21 car, so he's going to keep it down low. 3 laps remaining in this heat race as they roll through corners number 1 and 2. The 421 car still just sitting there in that 3rd spot. Maybe a little bit less comfortable now that David is clear, and he's closed that gap. So for Roxbury, maybe having to sweat just a little bit.
David Heilman was almost 0.2 of a second faster on that last lap. He's closed the gap just a bit. He's going to have 1 more lap to try to get around the 421 of Britton Roxbury as they come around to the white flag. 1 more time around the racetrack for David Heilman to try to get into tonight's show.
Down the back and in towards 3 and 4 for the final time. Out in front, Tyler Ducarme is well and truly clear, and Britton Roxbury, it's not going to be a sweat whatsoever. He's going to take that bubble spot here in heat race number 5. So our heats are done. We have some qualifying mains coming up. Before we get there, post-race results from this one. Ducarme, Newhoffen, and Roxbury. Those 3 go directly to the qualifying feature in this one, with Heileman, Sutton, Clark, Fargo, Underwood, Lewis, and Spar rounding out your top 10 in heat race number 5. And Ronald Piles rounds out the 11-car field. So now it is time for the D main. Once again, this is going to work relatively similar to what we saw earlier here and thus far tonight. We have a number of cars in this one, total grid of 15 for this heat race. Top 4 will go to the C. So Cody Cantwine, Jackson Lewis on that front row, with Adam Leichte and Alex McCollum on row number 2. Ryan Martin, Dustin Hall on row 3, with Richard Spar and Brad Dyer on row number 4. Brian Wax, Danny Burkhart on row 5, Bailey Cardwell, Ronald Piles on row 6, Justin Wilson, Patrick Solari, and Scott Mueller round out the 15-car field in this one. And this is going to be very, very tightly contested here, Tommy, because, I mean, everyone, you have more cars fighting for technically 1 additional transfer spot, but it's not going to feel like it's 1 additional transfer spot unless, of course, you finish in that 4th position. But if is there anyone you think that's going to be able to run the alphabet and get their way into the feature event here in this one?
It's going to be very tough here tonight. These drivers are going to have a long, long night ahead of them if they plan on doing it, but you got to start somewhere. And let's keep an eye on that 10 car of Cody Cantwine right there on the front row. If anybody's got a good shot at it, it's him starting on the pole here in the D main, and we're green.
The green flag in the D main here in this one. See that 01 car trying to work the top. That's Jackson Lewis. 10 machine currently your race leader. 3 wide for second already as they scream in towards corners number 3 and 4. The 10 up top, 40 in the middle. The 018 running that bottom side as they get it 2 wide now through 1 and 2 just to calm it down just a little bit. But the 10 machine gets a little bit of a shot as we got yellow in the back.
Yellow on the racetrack. Trying to check to see who it's on.
May have been the 49. I saw him slow off of corner number 2. So Mr. Patrick Solari, I believe, will
it's going to
confirm.
be the 54. Brad Dyer turned around.
Yeah, there it is. 54 of Brad Dyer is the one who got a little bit of a tap, sent around. Ended up coming off the corner. We'll get another look at that just for you guys because I know it was sort of just off the camera. Let's see, you see that 54 machine coming towards 1 and 2, and just that little bit of a tap from the 11 machine, just enough to pretty much pick those rear tires up off that dirt and send him on around as we are under yellow for the first time. And these guys running 5th, running 6th, running 7th, they hate that this caution comes out here, Tommy, because it just takes time off the clock for them to maybe be able to work and get themselves into one of those transfer spots.
Only a 12-lap D main, so these caution laps have got to be brutal for these guys running in that 5th, 6th, 7th place spot right now. So laps do wind down. It's transfer or go home from here. $1,500 on the line to win later on tonight. $100 to start. You know all these guys want a chance to make tonight's A main.
Green flag back out in the D main. 40 machine works his way up top. You see the 10 car trying to get up there as we immediately have another yellow in this one. This is again, big incident. 22 machine nearly on his lid. That was Scott Mueller. Let's see what happened
20
here.
upside down as well.
So a big incident. We're going to be looking at the 22, but we'll actually watch the 20 here. I think it started up ahead of that 22 car. Indeed it did. You see that little bit of contact. Couple cars get sent up into the outside wall, and the 22 going over kind of happened separately. So kind of interesting with that one. Not the greatest incident for you. You never want to be putting that car on its side under any circumstance. The field is still rolling around trying to catch up to the iRacing safety truck, but now, I mean, we've lost basically half of this D main to cautions here, Tommy. We're already working lap number 9 of 12 in this one. So for these guys that are wanting to run the alphabet and try to come from the back and get their way at least into the C main, they may not be doing themselves any favors being super aggressive and bringing out the yellows.
Not at all, Randy. Cody Cantwine, he's got to love what he's seeing. He's sitting right there in first place, and Ryan Martin sitting there in 4th. Bring out the yellows, and they'll be glad to run, 4th place here in the D main because that guarantees them a transfer spot for the C main. But for these guys running 5th, 6th, 7th, you got to feel for them.
Yep, top 4, probably much like me. Favorite color probably is yellow right now, as we're getting ready to go to green with 2 laps remaining. So expect aggression here. I would not be surprised if this ends under yellow here. They're nearly 4 wide for 4th as they come off corner number 4, the 10, the 01, and the 40, all close. In your top 3, a little bit of a cluster of cars in the back through 1 and 2, but they're going to keep it green here as they come off corners number 3 and 4, and the yellow flag flies. The 7 of Justin Wilson involved. That's going to unfortunately end his night. But let's take a look at the incident that actually ended the race here in this one for this 7 car. Actually, there's a big incident in 1 and 2 I missed. There was a car pretty much up vertically on the wall. I saw that car slow on the gravel, but the 7 car basically gets speared right into that outside wall, as you see there. That's going to pretty much end it for for this D main, as they're going to get ready to come through. And actually, they've already finished, so they're still just following that pace truck. But post-race results for the D main up on, no, they're not. Yes, they are. And they're going to have Cody Cantwine in that D main, taking a victory with Alex McCollum in 2nd, Ryan Martin in 3rd, and Jackson Lewis. Those are your 4 transferees. Those are the 4 that we think might potentially be able to run the alphabet here. Dustin Hall, Brad Dyer, Richard Spar, Ronald Piles, Bailey Cardwell, Brian Wax, your top 10. Everyone who finished outside the top 4, night's pretty much done. Well, that is done, unfortunately, and then Scott Mueller, Adam Leichte, Patrick Solari, Danny Burkhart, and Justin Wilson. But it is C main time. Tommy, take us down starting grid.
All right, starting on the front row here in the C main. In the 4 car, Justin Norwood to his outside. The 131 will be Colin Slife. On the second row, on the inside, the 75 will be Adam Elby. And to his outside, the 00 car will be Kendall Tucker. Starting on row number 3 on the inside, the 222 will be Eric Fargo. And to his outside, the 85 will be Cole Harvey. Starting on the inside of row number 4, the 157 will be Drew Hopkins. And to his outside, the 73's John Kennedy. Steven Spies, James Underwood, the 5th row. Colton Collins, Jared Crumrine, row number 6. Row number 7, Cody Catwine, Alex McPaulin. Row number 8, is Alex Ryan Martin and Jackson Lewis. Row number 8. I think I skipped somebody there. Maybe 127, okay. Jesse Isidore, I think that's who I skipped.
That's okay, we had it on the graphic. So back 4 positions here, of course, just transferred from the D main. Let's see if they can get themselves up into the top 4 as we are green here in the C. See that 4 car of Justin Norwood out in front. 3 wide for your race lead off of corner number 2.
3 wide for the race lead. 00 of Kendall Tucker. He's under the inside as well. Justin Norwood, your race have to keep it clean. They want to get some green flag laps in, especially those guys in the back. Got to pass in a hurry, but got to keep it clean to get some green flag laps in as well.
So the conundrum for those guys in the back, you need to be aggressive, you need to pick up spots, but you need to do so in such a patient manner that you don't bring the caution out and kill time. Still side by side between that 00 and the 131. To the bottom goes the 75 of Adam Elby, 3 wide for P2. Adam, that bottom groove not going to work out. He stays in that 4 spot, opens the door actually for the 85 of Harvey, but not quite going to be able to get there as LB holds on to P number 4. But now the 222 machine is going to fight up top. Eric Fargo in the top 5. We get a car getting sent around. That's the 157.
157 of Drew Hopkins turned around upside down here on the front straightaway. Was running about mid-pack. Not sure who he had in contact with. May have been the 222 of Eric Fargo.
So we'll see what happened here. No, the 85. The 85 got actually hooked by, I believe it was the 73 of John Kennedy. They just made a little bit of contact, and really that 157 car, Tommy, just wrong place, wrong time, because when that car got hooked, it got speared down the racetrack, and it just caught the rear end of Drew Hopkins' right rear quarter panel, and that just sent him right into the outside wall, and that put him up and over. Not really anything that Drew could do there.
Nothing he can do. That'll end his night, unfortunately. We have about 4 laps down. We'll probably go green about 7 or 8 laps down, so we'll probably be halfway home here in the C main as we get set to go back to green here in just a moment.
So coming back to green flag momentarily. Lights are now out on that iRacing safety truck. So we're going to be coming to green, halfway to go in the C main. 8 laps down, 8 laps to go. So things are going to get very, very feisty here in this one, as it's essentially just going to turn into an 8 lap qualifying race. Kendall Tucker, though, in that 4 started P4, and he's going to lead this thing into the green flag as we are now green. Actually, take that back. I think that was just a timing glitch. He's in 2nd place as we got the 55 slow up at the top.
Business is about to pick up for that 4th and final transfer spot, so we got about 3-4 car battle, but the yellow's on the racetrack.
So another caution here in the back. 55 and the 024 involved. Going to take more laps off the board. Let's see what exactly happened here. See the little cluster car, the 55 gets into the outside wall. There's another little checkup down on the bottom. And then the 55 car, I don't know who that was who actually drove into him. I need to get another look at it, but he kind of just got plowed down that back straightaway. And then eventually got speared into the wall, and then another driver behind pretty much speared into him. As let's see who actually was that. Blue and white car up top. I believe it was James Underwood who just sort of pretty much sent that 55 machine up into the outside wall at the end of the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like the 09 car. Very hard contact between him and the 55. Tough break for Steven Spies, missing a whole hood of his race car right now.
Yeah, so a couple hard contacts for everybody. As let's see, I believe we should be going green this time, and indeed that's the plan. As Trading Paints decides to update some paint schemes in the middle of the heat race, that's always great. We're back to green flag here as they roll through corner number 1 and 2, and down the back straightaway for the 13th time for 16 laps. That 00 trying to keep to the back of that 4.
Dustin Norwood coming around in 2 laps to go. Adam Elby in the 75, holding on to that 4th and final transfer spot here in the C main. Here comes Eric Fargo on the inside, looking for that 4th and final transfer spot. It's about 2 or 3 cars right behind them with Cole Harvey, and I believe that's a 73 of John Kennedy right there as well.
So right now it's Adam Elby who owns that 4th and final transfer spot. You see that 222 of Eric Fargo. He wants to get there as well. Top side through corners number 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. He loses a little bit of ground there to Mr. Elby. White flag waves here in the C main qualifying race on the 75 car. Gonna just hold on to that 4th spot. Actually tries the bottom here. This might hurt him as he comes off corner number 3 and 4, but no, he'll be able to hold on to it. So it'll be Kendall Tucker who wins here in the C main. And then results on back. Justin Norwood, Colin Slife, and Adam Elby. Those are your top 4. Eric Fargo, Cole Harvey. Who else we got? John Kennedy, Jackson Lewis, Alex McCollum, and Colton Collins round out your top 10. With James Underwood, Ryan Martin, Steven Spies, Cody Cantonwine, Jared Crumrine, Jesse Isidore, and Drew Hopkins rounding out the 17-car field for the C main. But the show keeps on moving, and Tommy, take us down the starting grid for our B main.
All right, what a stacked B main lineup we have here. Server number 2, starting on the front row on the inside. The 47 car will be Lucas Chowning, into his outside. The 86 will be Alton Parsons. Starting on row number 2 in the 26 will be Drew Hertzko, into his outside. The 777 machine will be Jacob Leverstein. Starting inside row number 3 in the 21 will be David Hallman, into his outside. The 15 will be DJ Kilinowski. Inside row number 4 in the 33 car will be Jason Reed, to his outside. The 06 will be Brayton Wallace. Starting inside row number 5 in the 98 will be Justin Thompson, and to his outside. The 97 will be David Sutton. Starting on the inside of row number 6 in the car number 23 will be Jeremy Capron, and to his outside. The 12 car will be Alex Bergeron. Starting inside row number 7 in the 28 car will be Benjamin Maney, and to his outside. The 25 will be Aaron Elmore. Starting inside row number 8 in the 19 will be Lewis Clark, and to his outside. Your B main winner in the 00 will be Kendall Tucker. Starting inside row number 9 in the 4 car will be Justin Norwood, to his outside, and the 131 will be Colin Slife. Bringing up the rear all by himself here in the B main, it'll be the 75 of Adam Elby. 20 laps on the board. Top 5 drivers will transfer tonight's sub-feature number 2. We'll take the top 12 from there for tonight's $1,500 to win.
A number of drivers from your iRacing World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series, not even in the qualifying feature on this server. Can they get there? As we are green for the B main. 20 laps up on the board. Let's see who's going to get it. There's contact already up amongst your leaders. The 777 of Jacob Leverstein's involved. The 98's facing the wrong way, and it took no time as these guys are still crashing in the center of 3 and 4. This might have to be one of these races the admins have to step in here, Tommy, because I'm sorry, but there was some pretty silly driving there, because they were wrecking basically off of 2, and they didn't stop until they came off of 4.
Not very smart. It looks like the 98 car, I believe the 98 of Justin Thompson running the very outside line, comes down and makes a little contact with Jacob Leverstein. The rest is just a chain reaction from there. What a mess we have here in tonight's B main.
Yeah, so started with the 86, just messed up his line up top. That pretty much shook up the field, and people saw people struggling and just didn't want to lift. It seemed like they just kind of arc braked it into the wall of stationary cars in front of them. So unfortunate there, but we're going to get a very, very quick caution in this one, and likely some hot heads in this one pretty quick as well, as the light's already out. We're going to be going back to green here in a moment.
Lights are going out. Lucas Chowning, Drew Hertzko, your front row. David Hama, DJ Kilinowski up on the second row this time. Jacob Leverstein back there in that 5th spot. That'll be the 5th and final transfer. They'll take the top 5 here for the B main for tonight's sub-feature.
So through 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway, they're going to come. This 26 of Drew Hertzko trying to keep up with that leader of Luke Chowning, but we already have another yellow. Let's see, where is this one? I don't see. Oh, there's a car upside down. Jeremy Capron. Not exactly what he would like in that 23 car. Let's see what brought this one out. As it was the 12 of Alex Bergeron that got into the back of him, and then it was the 28 car just came rolling on through and finished up the job. So for that 23 car, that's going to be night done, unfortunately for him.
Unfortunate for Jeremy Capron. They call him the gangster here at Team VLR. Night looks like he'll be done upside down, sitting there in turn number 3 and 4. Not the way he wanted to end his night for sure. As we have our second caution here in tonight's B main. Only 20 laps on the board. These guys need some green flag laps to try to get in tonight's feature event.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these guys out in front, I don't think they're going to be too unhappy seeing these cautions because it's taking laps off the board, and these are super aggressive guys trying to race their way into the top 4. It'll just take time away from them. But then again, you give them less laps, they're likely only going to get more aggressive. Right now, Chowning, Hershko, Heilemann, and Kalinowski, they would be the 4 drivers who would get their way into the final qualifying race of the night as the green flag is back in the air, and Chowning is going to lead them in towards 1 and 2.
Lucas Chowning, your race leader. Jacob Leverstein sitting in that 5th and final transfer spot's got a lot of drivers right there, but they're 3 wide for a third between David Heilman, Luke, DJ Kalinowski, and Jacob Leverstein. So we've got another caution here in the B main.
So a 28 car of Ben Nading in 3 and 4 got sent around. I believe it was a bright orange car you saw on the back of him. I believe it was that number 86 of Alton Parston. Let's see what actually ended up happening. In towards 3 and 4, you see the 19 get into him, and actually, nope, I just saw that car coming through on the outside. The 19 machine just about sent that 28 car around, just enough to trigger that thing, as Mr. Bergeron was actually given an EOL here. I think he technically passed as that caution flag came out, so they're doing that essentially to correct the positions here. But still, inside out of 10 laps to go in this last chance race to the last chance race.
Not a lot of green flag laps here at tonight's B main. Let's hope these drivers can calm down and at least get a couple of laps on the board, especially those guys like David Sutton in the 97, Braden Wallace. They have got to be itching, chopping at the bit to see a couple of green flag laps to try to get in tonight's sub-feature.
That's going to be the situation as green flag back out here, and Chowning going to lead the way through in towards 1 and 2. Hershko defends the bottom. That 21 of Heilemann going to work up top. Might be able to make a move. The 777 of Leverstein is making a late race charge as well. He started in that top 4. He's trying to get his way there. Back there.
David Heilemann working the outside lines, going to try to get around the 15 car. That is DJ Kalinowski. It looks like he's going to be able to do it as Jacob Leverstein, he's fallen. He's back to 5th. It looked like he was in 6th place for the moment.
We have a lap car out in front. This may look like there's more cars.
That's what was throwing me off right there. Lucas Chowning still holding on to the race lead. That's the 86. Alton Parsons right there next to the leaders.
So this is going to potentially shake things up. That 86 machine letting this faster traffic through, and whoever can deal with it the best. I think we got a big pile up in the center of 1 and 2. The caution just now comes out, but a half dozen cars all on top of one another in that segment of the racetrack. And this started in turn 4 once again. The 97 gets set up, and then this 131 gets into the 33, and the 97 inexplicably continues wrecking from on corner number 4 all the way into the entry of 1. I want to see that again. Let's see what exactly happened here, because Mr. David Sutton had an exciting ride down that front straightaway, I believe. Set into the wall on the exit of 4, keeps his foot in it, gets driven into by the 28, gets into Alex Bergeron, and hits the 28 again, and the 23 pushing himself up on top of there. So let's just say that was a pretty big junk coming there towards the end of this B main. We only have about a lap and a half left.
Only about a lap and a half left. I'm not sure if we're going to go back to green or not. Maybe it looks like the lights may be out on the pace truck. We'll get 1 lap in here. Kendall Tucker on the outside looking in. He was in the C main. He's going to try to come from the C main to try to get in tonight's feature event. Not sure if we're going to go back to green. The pace truck pulls in. Looks like we're going to get 1 lap in here to try to settle tonight's B main.
1 lap shootout. It will end under green as we're back to green flag racing. Hershko on the bottom, Chowning up top. David Heilemann has gotten himself in there with DJ Kalinowski. 777 of Jacob Leverstein. He's in the show at the moment. Will he keep it there? They're nearly 5 wide. Heilemann loses out. Oh my Lord, we're going to have, I'm not exactly sure who ended up getting in and who didn't. Kendall Tucker, who came from, I believe, the C main. You're indeed correct. He gets his way into the last chance transfer race. Let's see who all lost out, though. Drew Hershko, Luke Chowning, Kendall Tucker, Jacob Leverstein. Your top 4, they go. Actually, excuse me, it was top 5 who transfers. So Eric Elmore punches his ticket through as well. Rest of your field, Adam Elby misses out. Lewis Clark misses out. Alex Bergeron misses out. Big name there. David Heilemann misses out. Your winner from the last VLR big race, the memorial race that was held for Jason Johnson. He's out of this one. Brayton Wallace is on the outside looking in. Who else do we have DJ Kilinowski, Justin Norwood, a lot of big names as we look at the rest of the field, not getting into this 40-lap last chance qualifier.
What an aggressive drive by Kendall Tucker right there, throwing in right there in the middle, restarted 6th, threw it in there, comes out with a 3rd place finish, started in 16th. What a charge by Kendall Tucker to come up to 3rd and transfer into tonight's sub-feature number 2 for a chance later on tonight at $1,500 to win.
Now, just to remind you guys on what the format is for this race. This is technically, quote-unquote, the feature race for this server. The way this actual event is being held, you can essentially think of it there as being as 2 twin B mains. We have 20 cars in this server and 20 cars in another one that is happening parallel alongside at the same time. The top 12 from each of these races punch their ticket to the 100-lap main event. So, this is going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of aggressive racing, especially in the mid-pack, because while the bulk of these drivers get their way into the feature event in the 100-lap main, with there only being 20 cars, Tommy, those who are 13th, 14th, 15th, they're going to be pretty aggressive, not wanting to keep themselves there.
Couldn't see a lot of aggressive racing up front. If they get up front, maybe they'll settle in single file, but around 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, where Dan Smolders, Dylan Hauser, Thomas Coggins, Austin Semmelman will be all starting. Keep your eyes peeled, because that is going to be a brawl worth watching right there.
So the warm-up for the feature is coming to a close right now. The track's been really worn in, and let's go down your starting grid for the feature race. Out in front, it's going to be Dylan Wilson and Virgil Graham bringing us to the green. Blake Machulos and Austin Carr on row number 2. I said we were going to struggle with his name. I already forgot how to pronounce it. Tadu Carm and Hayden Cardwell on row number 3 with Garrett Robinson and Cole Falloway on row number 4. Mason Crawford and Cole Newhoffen on row number 5. And Dan Smolders and Dylan Hauser, they will be the Bubble Boys here on row number 6. Thomas Coggins and Austin Selman on row 7 with Britton Roxbury and Drew Hertzkill on row number 8. Lucas Chowning, Kendall Tucker on row 9 with Jacob Leverstein and Eric Elmore rounding out the 20-car field. So things are going to roll around here for this feature race. 40 laps on the board, Tommy. Let's see, let's do it this one. Who is starting on the outside that you think will run their way up forward up the field, and who is starting on the inside, outside of the bubble that is, and who's starting inside of the bubble that you think's not going to make it?
If I can't pick anyone inside the bubble, there's a lot of great drivers out here. Keep your eye on Austin. How about Kendall Tucker right there? Started 16th in the B main. Keep your eye out for him. He's shown he can charge through the field already. He's starting 18th here. He'll be a driver to look out here in tonight's sub-feature number 2.
So they come through corners number 3 and 4. The 80 of Dylan Wilson gets on it. Green flag flies in the feature race for this server. Getting top 12. Go to the 100-lap main event. 3 wide for the top 5 as they come off corner number 2. So some aggression here shown early as that 127 of Blake Machulos is trying to make things happen. We got a big caution. 36 of Hayden Cardwell. Big pileup from the back of the field.
36 of Hayden Cardwell somehow keeps it on the ground, not upside down. Will be able to keep his car rolling.
I'm not sure he had much to do with that one.
Damage on that race car.
I think that was a bit of a work of God. That 36 machine just get driven into from the back, and people just keep coming, picks that car up off the ground a couple different times, and like you said, Tommy, somehow keeps that thing with the wheels pointed down. I think he thought about towing that thing off the racetrack, but realized, you know what, I might as well see if this thing's at least drivable. He's got a rear spoiler missing. That car is beat. That's the only way to put it. And it looks like it's, crabbing just a little bit. And oh yeah, he's gonna have to bring that thing on towards pit road. So a little bit of heartbreak there for Hayden Cardwell. And, you know, especially for someone starting as comfortably as they were, you know, starting top 6, I'd feel pretty solid about my chances after 40 laps to finish inside that top 20, or excuse me, that top 12.
Lucky break for Hayden Cardwell. It looks like there will be one fast repair here in tonight's feature event. He'll be able to get his car back out there and tag the rear of this field. If he'll get a waiver in, I do believe he's a lap down at the moment. Not quite sure.
They might let him get his spot back. We're going to have to wait and see. They've thrown the I think they threw the caution flag for him so he could get back out there. But no, he's not going to get his spot back. They did give one driver an EOL, and that was Garrett Robinson. We're back to green flag racing as Dylan Wilson, the 80, gets on it.
Bill Wilson, your race leader. I'm going to keep my eye out back there in the 12th, 13th, 4th place spots. Is Austin Semmelman right now sitting on the bubble. He's got Drew Hertzko in the 26th, sitting in 13th. Hertzko on the outside looking in at the moment as Semmelman goes side by side with the 89 of Thomas Coggins for 11.
The bubble spot getting aggressive already. The 81 and the 89 still wheel to wheel, 11th and 12th. They're just passing that spot back and forth. The 26 of Drew Hertzko, he's just behind these two, kind of lurking. You also have just a couple of other drivers behind as well. The 99 of Dan Smolders is in there, and Britton Roxbury not very far away either. Those two make a little bit of contact, the 81 and the 89, and they continue transferring the bubble spot. Now the two of Dylan Howser find some trouble. He's going to come up near these bubble boys as well.
Hauser comes down to the racetrack, almost makes some contact, almost takes out a couple of drivers, but they manage to keep it straight. Here comes Hertzko on the very bottom of the racetrack, trying to make it 4 wide for that 12th and final transfer.
Up the inside of Austin Selman through corners number 3 and 4, still rolling that bottom groove, still 3 wide with the 81 and the 89. Austin gets into the 89, 4 wide once again, the 421 up top. He's going to get just about clear of that number 89 as they head into corner number 3, but Drew Hertzko, some good physical racing that was well timed and well managed. He's going to pick up a couple spots, and now he's suddenly got himself a transfer spot and is running away from the bubble.
Beautiful racing right here through mid-pack right now. 3, 4, sometimes even 5 wide racing as Austin Silverman still holding on to that 12th and final transfer spot, but the 421 of Britton Roxbury, he's pushing his way in there for that 12th and final transfer spot, and here comes Kendall Tucker on the inside.
Kendall Tucker is getting involved with this as well. A 99 and the 89 wheel to wheel. That is currently your bubble spots right now. 89 and Thomas Coggins is in 12th. The 99 is in 11th. So they're transferring the bubble spot right now. Kendall Tucker 00 going to try that low line. Austin Selman going to try the ultra high line. Tucker a little bit of contact. That's going to send him back. Austin Selman will pick the spot up from Tucker, but he finds the wall through 3 and 4, and that's going to hurt his momentum as we're coming towards halfway.
Little bit of wall tap from Austin Selman as he does it again, and Britton Roxbury, the 421, he's going to pull up beside Austin Selman. Selman fading towards the back as cars are side by side, 2, 3, 4 wide right there for that 12th and final transfer spot.
And it's tight still just off that transfer spot. You have that 36 car of Hayden Cardwell. After getting the reset, he's back involved in this. Caution somewhere on the racetrack. I think this is at the back of the field. The 25 may be involved of Eric Elmore. We'll get a replay just to confirm. We'll have to wait and see what exactly brought this one out.
Oh, Jake Leverstein is turned around by the 36.
Oh, yeah, it's the 25 who got into it. So the 25
up into the wall very hard.
So that 36 machine got into that 777 to Leverstein. See exactly what happened here because I definitely missed this one. I'm not sure how because it was pretty much right on my screen. And oh yeah, he just got sent around. Oh, that was a big hit. All those cars I think likely to have damage. Of course, they will be able to come down and potentially come down to pit road and get the reset, Tommy, but 20 laps down, you're only talking 20 laps if you're that 777 to maybe race your way back into the top 12.
If anybody can do it, keep your eye on Jacob Leverstein. He can do it, but time's definitely running out, not on his side. As we saw some very good racing right there mid-pack for that 12th and final transfer spot. Probably the most green flag laps we've seen since the heat races, Randy.
I think you're right. Maybe since the D-Main, but lights are out in the safety truck, and I think we're going to see a dicey final half of this race. Green flag flies. Dylan Wilson is on it. Blake Machulos in that second spot. Austin Carr, Mason Crawford, they round out your top 4 as they roll through 1 and 2, and I think this mid-pack's about to get feisty.
Thomas Coggins in the 89 car. He's sitting on the bubble at the moment, but he's got a big mirror full of 00 of Kendall Tucker and Austin Simmelman as we have another yellow on the racetrack.
I didn't see what brought this one out. Trying to take a look. See, I'll pick one of these drivers that are near the back, sort of queue up a replay, see if I can see an incident of some sort. Oh, and there it is, the 421. Of Britton Roxbury. I made a pretty good guess with who was involved in that one. And actually, that one ended up being pretty unfortunate in some ways, Tommy, because Brendan, he got sent around, but he got sent around 360 degrees and was almost able to just keep it rolling. But of course, once the car gets sent around a certain angle, you know, facing the wrong direction, the sim's always going to trigger that caution flag. But for that 421 in Roxbury, I'm not sure if that's a blessing or a curse that the caution flew out or not, because now he's going to have to run his way in. But he would have had a little bit of breathing room and wouldn't be starting right in the hornet's nest now the way he has to.
Now, the unfortunate break is he makes contact with the 36 of Hayden Cardwell, but 25 laps down, 15 laps remaining here in sub-feature number 2. Dylan Wilson, Blake Monteulis looking pretty good right now in your front row. Dylan Wilson's one of my picks to win tonight. Let's see how he holds on to the race lead.
Watching this 777 of Leverstein, I think he has quite a bit of suspension damage. Obviously did not come down pit road and take that reset, and he's putting a lot of wheel into that thing, so I think there is some damage here. These guys are going to be nearly 3 wide in the mid-pack. They're 3 wide up near the front, though. I believe that's going to be for about 7th or 8th. And they come off corner number 2. We got cars involved. The 81 of Austin Simmelman brings out a caution off of 2.
Austin Simmelman sitting in that 12th and final transfer spot, gets turned around. He'll have to try to work his way back from the back of the pack as once again the 36 of Hayden Cardwell involved.
So taking a peek here, you see that 36 car just gets right into the back of that 81. And actually, that 36 car might catch the ire of the stewards, because they do have the sort of USAC rule of if you trigger 2 cautions, your night is over. And, you know, the only reason the 81 kind of went around was the 36 got into the back of him. So stewards could look at that as Hayden Cardwell being the cause of that. Can be interesting to see what they end up deciding.
Very interesting from the admins indeed. But as we get set to go back to green, Kendall Tucker started 18th. He's up to 12th. He's sitting on the bubble at the moment. Jacob Leverstein, the 777, he's back up to 13th. One more spot to get into tonight's feature event. But Kendall Tucker trying to come from the C main to all the way to tonight's feature event.
So lights out on the safety truck. Green flag back in the air for the 80 of Dylan Wilson. Green flag flies. And they are going through it towards 1 and 2 right now. 10 laps remaining. At top 12, get the way to the feature of the 1 and the 127. Fantastic move by Blake Machulas to keep that second spot. But Austin Carr is actually going to slide right back up through 3 and 4 and take it away.
Packer Racing right here. About 4th, 5th, 6th on back. As they're almost 4 wide between Dylan Hauser, the 42 of Virgil Graham. Not sure is that the black X car in the middle. Blake Monteulis as well. All right there, 4 wide for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th on back.
Oh, Leverstein.
Back here, 11th and 12th as we get another caution out on the racetrack.
777 to Leverstein is around again, and that might be the end of his night, because that's the 2nd or 3rd caution he's been a part of. Replay up on your screens is just really not heavy contact. Just the 89 machine barely got into him, I think, side to side, and just about sent him around. They may not see that as his fault, though, because it was a stack up ahead of him that caused it. Really not much he could do, but he's starting to miss some fenders on that 777 car, and that late model is starting to look more and more like a modified than a late model.
Yeah, very open wheel looking race car right now, especially on the right side of that race car. And Leverstein, he's had to pass the most cars tonight. Unfortunately for him, he's sitting at dead last at the moment, and they only take 12 here from tonight's sub-feature number 2.
Like to shout YouTube out for getting me a notification that the stream I am producing has started, so thank you for that, as the 80 and the 1 machine are going to lead them back to green flag racing. Lights are out on that safety truck. 5 laps to go. We're going to focus on the bubble. The 89 of Thomas Coggins, see him on the outside. Inside is the 00 of Kendall Tucker. Those two hold the transfer row. Everyone behind is currently not in the feature race. Let's see what can happen as green flag flies. 4 laps remaining.
Keep your eye on that big pink car right there on the outside of Britton Roxbury. He's going to try to work that very top of the racetrack to try to get around the 89, the 00 of Kendall Tucker, as Roxbury is closing the gap quickly, as well as the 99 of Dan I didn't believe as well, but here comes Britton Roxbury right there on the bumper of the 89 of Thomas Coggins.
He's almost there, coming to 2 laps to go with Britton Roxbury. He's going to try the bottom here, coming through corners number 1 and 2. Gets good drive to the center of the corner, going to pull up alongside, but can't get the drive off. 1 lap remaining for that 421 car. Is it going to be Roxbury or is it going to be Coggins? White flag in the air as they roll through 1 and 2. Going to try to run the cushion. Will that 421 car, as he's going to run it through 3 and 4 as well. I don't think it's quite going to be enough, and it's going to be the 89 of Thomas Coggins who hosts that last transfer position for the feature event. Post-race results coming up on your screen. Dylan Wilson wins. He'll be starting on the front row of the feature, and that's the other thing that's important here, Tommy, as your post-race results are on your screen. These are not only getting your way into those into the feature race, these are also starting positions. So you're going to be starting on the front row if you finish first, second if you finish second, yada yada, all the way back to the field. So the difference between finishing P8 and say P4, P3, even though you're technically still in the race, is going to be quite significant.
Yeah, finishing third here tonight will be the difference of starting 6th. Whereas you finish 8th tonight, you're going to be starting 16th. So big difference in starting positions for tonight's $1,500 to win Labor Day main event presented by Hammerdown Racing and Team VLR. But just to be in the show tonight, making it out of 120 drivers, certainly an accomplishment in itself.
So we're going to kidnap some drivers here and talk to a couple. We're going to definitely get our race winner, Mr. Dylan Wilson, here in just a moment, as I'm going to send a message real quick. So sorry for the typing, but let's see if we can find that number 80 of Dylan Wilson here.
I got him right here.
All right, so bringing him on down. And Tommy, you're stood by with that race winner, number 80, going to be starting on that front row for the feature event.
All right, Dylan Wilson driving the number 80 car takes home the win here in tonight's sub-feature number 2. Dylan qualified the pole, took home the heat race win, took home the feature win here in sub-feature number 2. How's the car, how's the track, and how do you like your chances here later on tonight?
The car feels good. I think the main event setup is the one where we've really worked hard on, so I'm happy that we got this car in the show so we can show everybody how good that set really is. But yeah, the track was good. Racing was all right. You know, it was the heats and B's and C's, too many yellows in my opinion, but we'll see. Hopefully they serves up some better racing.
Well, man, you're driving for $1,500 to win here in just a little bit. How does that sink in for you?
Sounds awesome, but I'm just happy to be in the show, you know. I mean, hopefully we can put on an awesome show for these guys and put on a good broadcast and everybody watching. So, yeah, that's really what it's all about.
All right, any shout-outs you want to give before you get ready to start tonight's feature event?
Oh, yeah, I got a whole bunch. We'll start with Tyler Hallam because he's been begging me for 3 hours to make sure I give him a shout-out. Trevor, Shad, Jed, Gerb, Rocket, Clay, Casey, Blake, they're all over there and rooting us on right now. And we got 4 of the 5 team guys in the show. Unfortunate Clay couldn't make it, but hopefully we put on a good showing and finish 1, 2, 3, 4 here in the main.
Well, Dylan, man, congratulations once again on your win here in sub-feature number 2, and best of luck here later on tonight.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Randy.
So there he was, Mr. Dylan Wilson with the win here. Let's see who else we can get. I want to get the Bubble Boy who just sneaked his way in. Let's see if we can find that 12 car of, that 89 car of Thomas Coggins who just sneaked his way in at the end of the night. Try to find him in here.
Got him.
So we got him, and we are stood by now with the driver who just sneaked his way in. We talked with the race winner. Let's talk with the last happy man, the deepest finishing happy man, Mr. Thomas Coggins. Thomas, you just sneak into the feature event. How you feeling with that one? Because that mid-pack was crazy.
Nervous, but glad I made it in.
And now talking about this race, we've seen a couple of these sort of big races here that VLR have done. The Spring Fling, of course, the closest to this was the Super Late models in very similar format. But we need to also talk about, this is the first one I think that's been on such a short track, running the quarter mile here at Limaland. How is being on such a tight circuit going to affect a 100-lap event? Because I feel like if we get any significant green flag run, lap traffic's going to be insane.
It's going to be very, very, very loose. Overall, I think you got to have the car set up to be tight and then let it loosen up as you get through the race. But I think this update has thrown everybody for a little bit of a curve.
And actually, I wanted to ask about that. We haven't talked to any of the drivers. Tommy and I kind of did some speculation, but of course, we work with our voice rather than our hands and our feet. We work in the pedals and wheels. But what does this update really change? I know that there's been changes to the actual dirt. I know that the car has been shifted around a little bit. I know that even the starting track states have shifted some. What's sort of the big changes with this build that just released here on the 5th?
I think they took a little bit of side bite out of the car. That's one thing I noticed a good bit of on my set that I had previously, that I had a lot of drive off the corner and off the side, and then it seems like the car wants to slide around a little bit more than what it has been. So hopefully I can get it tightened up for the race and try to get up there and get some more money.
Well, good luck to you, Thomas. It'll be interesting to see how you can run your way through the field, as I believe you'll be starting stone cold last in the feature. So it's only up there from there, my friend. Congratulations on slipping your way through. Any sponsor shout-outs?
I just want to thank DJ No Name Motorsports, IDA, Jeremy, and Blake Mosley. Just thank VLR and Hammerdown for putting this on.
Well, thank you once again, Thomas. Congrats for slipping your way through.
Thank you.
Well, Tommy, I think he's a pretty happy man, just slipping his way in. He doesn't seem like it, but as someone who's taken parts in some of these big events in the past, being that, and as someone who's been that last person in events somewhat similar to these, it's a nice feeling knowing that you at least made the show. It's sort of a big relief let off your shoulders, especially if you spent that whole qualifying race or even qualifying process right down just on potential on the outside looking in.
Well, this is what the last month and a half of practice has been for some of these guys trying to get into tonight's feature event. And just to say that you're 24 of the best out of 120 drivers, that's pretty good bragging rights in its own self. And for a chance to compete at a lot of money here later on tonight, not too shabby for a virtual racing game where you can come in and compete for $1,500 to win, $100 to start.
All right, and well, while we get things sorted, we need to do some communicating with race control on the broadcast side of things. We are going to step away, and we should be with you back shortly for the feature event. So do not go away. There'll be ad breaks here for just a little bit until we get everything sorted. We might come back for some more post-race coverage, depending on what we hear and how long it'll be, but we are not exactly sure what's going on right now. But I do know that we will be bringing you on this channel, on these channels, the feature event for the night. So do not go away. We will be back shortly for the 100-lap feature event Hammerdown Labor Day Classic. Do not go away.
My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the Beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the Beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the Beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the Beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing. My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect.
Welcome back for the 100 lap feature event of the Hammerdown Labor Day Classic. 100 plus drivers have duked their way out, and the best 24 are here for a 100 lap feature event here at Limaland, and oh yeah, there's about $1,500 going to the winner. We'll meet myself, Randy Cheneth, and Tommy Rowe are going to be bringing you all the action, and we have for you our starting grid. From the back to the front, we will start on the outside. Starting on the rear, on the outside, it will be Thomas Coggins on row number 12, having the 24th spot. On the inside of that final row will be Lewis Hewitt starting 23rd. Bring us row number 11.
All right, starting on the outside of row number 11, in the number 00 car will be Kendall Tucker, and right beside him will be the 41 of Chase Cabre.
Cole Newhoffen will be starting on the outside of that 10th row, and just out in front it is going to be Randall Carter, I believe. I think it's Lewis Hewitt. Oh no, you were right. It's gonna be Blake Cannon who starts in that 10th row.
All right, starting on the inside of row number 9 here tonight for the Hammerdown Labor Day Classic, it'll be the 8 car of Cole Newhoffen, and to his inside in the 56 it'll be Mike Molnar. Am I reading that right?
I think we may have gotten ourselves a little bit confused here.
All right, Dylan Hauser and Brian Widenet.
Yeah, see, Dylan Hauser is right, and it's going to be it's a little bit confusing, Tom. We are professionals. We are professionals. They're getting the cars in order right now. We don't technically have a qualifying time as we normally would. We don't have, let's see, the cars actually, the cars are actually, they are in order. I did not think they would be. So the cars are technically in order as they roll out right now. So I'm going to haul butt through it right now. John Fiddler, Dylan Wilson, row 1. Trevor Fitz, Austin Carr, row 2. Keith Hackney and Mason Crawford, row 3. Nicholas Dafford and Blake Matulis, row 4. Dylan Fox, Tyler Ducarm, row 5. Lee Daniel Robertson, Virgil Graham, row 6. James Edens, Co. Falloway, row 7. Jacob Fields, Drew Hirschko, row 8. Chad Prescott and Dylan Hauser, row 9. Blake Cannon, Cole Newhoffen, row 10. Randall Carter, Kendall Tucker, row 11. Howard Weaver, Thomas Coggins, Mike Molnar make up the top 25. We are green and we are yellow.
Green flag, yellow flag. John Fiddler jumps out to the race lead. Very sorry for the screw up on the starting grid. Picture that they sent me was kind of wrong. We have 25 drivers in here instead of 24. Maybe one driver got a lucky dog provisional. Not sure how that happened, but it happened, and we have 25 drivers. And so we got 0 laps in the books. Not sure if they're counting caution laps or not.
I see it's Nick DeFern who's down on pit road, but I don't see any damage on that car. But maybe that's incorrect. So we'll take a quick look, but sorry about that. I did not actually realize the cars were going to be gridded in order in the server. I thought they were going to have to do that manually. and I was incorrect. So I think that number 96 has been down on pit road for quite some time. But yeah, Tommy and I were referencing a photo that Race Control is using to set the grid, and I think we just got mixed up. We tried to be fancy, Tommy. I think we need to realize that you and I are too is dumb an unprofessional word to describe ourselves?
No, we can call ourselves dumb on that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Lights out on the safety.
Well, I'll blame it on the guys that sent us the picture and told us that's how we're starting. But anyways, we're going back to green. 115, John Fiddler. 80 car, Dylan Wilson. Hammer down here in the Hammer Down Labor Day Classic.
So just talk about the format of this event. 100 laps, the first 50 laps, caution laps will count. The last 50 laps, they will not. So we are, with the way this is working, we will not be able to have a live lap counter for you. We're currently working lap number 6 of this first half. There's big checkup, and they're 4 wide, 5 wide nearly. The 127 is going to get sent around in towards 3 and 4. That's Blake Matullo's. Number 2 at Dylan Hauser's up on his lid as well. Second caution of the night, 6 laps in.
6 laps in, Blake Matullo takes a turnaround, and Dylan Hauser in the 2 car upside down there on lap number 6. As John Fiddler still holds on to the race lead. Dylan Wilson second, Austin Carr in 4th. Tyler Ducharme started 10th, he's up to 4th, and James Eden started 13th, he's up to 5th.
Yeah, a handful of movers already with some of this drama, and this, really the sort of, I guess, the bright side of the drama is you get some guys that started in the back really kind of can luck out and get the way up to the mid-pack. So just to, talk about the format again, now I have a little bit more time. 100-lap feature event. First half of the race, caution laps will count. So we will go from lap 1 to lap 50. Doesn't matter if it was green, doesn't matter if it was caution, the lap counts. Lap 51 to lap 100. All green flag laps will count, caution laps will not. So that'll make it a little bit confusing on our end, Tommy, trying to decipher exactly how many laps we have left. But it's going to make it really fun because we're guaranteed 50 laps of action at the end as the green flag's about to go, and we are green coming to lap 10.
Green flag is back out, and we're 3 wide for the race lead between Austin Cars down on the very bottom of the racetrack. They get stacked up right behind him, and a 3-car separation from the rest of the field right here on lap number 10 as John Fiddler in the 115 takes him down to the race lead.
So John Fiddler is going to lead here. Dylan Wilson in that second spot. Austin Carr, Tyler Ducharme, Mason Crawford. That's your current top 5. We're looking a little bit deeper in the field, though. 64, Trevor Fitz, as another quick caution comes out. And let's see who this might have been. I think Blake Matullo's in that 127 may have been involved once again. Well, let's see what exactly happened. This is that 127 car coming off corner number 2.
Well, looks like the 89
happened out in front of him. Yeah, he got a piece. Actually, the 127, he did get a piece of it, but he did not start it. That 141 car who started it. So we'll take a look at another quick replay here. See what exactly happened. They were 4 wide off of 4. They managed to get that done cleanly. 4 wide through 1 and 2. Then just that little bit of a tap. And big shot from the 2 of Dylan Hauser to that 141 car.
That 141 just gets into the side of the 89 of Thomas Coggins, and Dylan Hauser nowhere to go. Kind of a victim of circumstances there, but anyways, Thomas Coggins, or Shad Prescott in the 141 back to the 24th position. Only driver out of the race right now is the 96 of Nicholas Dafford.
So, working lap number 14 of this first segment, so to speak. As the green flag's back in the air, and the 115 of John Fiddler gets on it. Dylan Wilson's still on the outside. Austin Carr's picked up 1 spot, but the big mover right now is that black car on the outside. That's Tyler Ducharme, started P number 10, and now, after getting around the 1, he's going to be in 3rd.
Ducharme working that very top of the racetrack, moves that X machine up to 3rd. John Fiddler still holding on to the race lead. Austin Carr back to 4th, and here comes the 52 of James Edens. He's starting
37 car.
He's into the top 5 as we have another yellow.
37 is around. The 26 of Drew Hirschko got a piece of this one, and this is starting to look, Tommy, like we might have a bit of an issue. We talked with a couple of the drivers, of course, after our first leg of the broadcast, that said that they think the tracks, you're pretty much going to want to keep that car tight as the track's going to end up loosening up. We keep getting all these yellows, and if we keep, especially through this first half of the race, the bulk of this 50-lap segment is cautions, the track's not really going to be all that slick for the last 50.
Not slick at all. Very different setup for these drivers. They've been building setups for weeks, but a new build for iRacing less than 5 or 6 hours ago. Toss all the setups out the window, and it looks like maybe some of these drivers aren't used to how the track is running, how the cars are handling at the moment. taking them a little longer to get their handling under control, and we've seen a lot of yellows early on in the race.
That we have. Currently working lap 19, so we're already approaching half distance in this first segment. Only took us about 6 minutes, even with all the cautions that we've had. So that's, these laps are going to go quick. Around this quarter-mile bullring at Limaland. Green flag back in the air, though. 115 working the bottom, the 80 up top. He's going to try to work the undercut. They're nearly 3 wide for the lead. It's going to be DeCarm and Carr fighting for that third spot. And the one machine, I think, might just reign supreme here this time. Indeed, he does.
Looks like DeCarm might have made a mistake to go to the bottom of the racetrack, because he's going to get freight trained on the outside by a host of drivers, including the 119 of Mason Crawford, as well as the 69 of Keith Hackney, who all get around the X car of Tyler DeCarm.
So fight still happening up and down the field here as Tyler DeCarm is going to slowly fall the wrong way. 64, I think, finds the outside wall a little bit on the entry in towards turn 3, but he's going to manage to hold it as we're now still closing in on that half distance to segment number 1. 3 wide, and caution's going to fly once again.
Another caution on the racetrack.
Prescott
I thought we were going to get
down.
stretched out there just for a moment, but unfortunately Shad Prescott in the 141 upside down. That's not what he wanted to see here on lap number 23.
Definitely not at all. We're getting the replay of that. It's that black and yellow 141 car. Oh, it actually started before that. And this is, I think, one of the things we've seen pretty much all day, Tommy, is that a caution will happen, say, coming off of turn 4. And then people, even though the caution's obviously going to fly, because that 141 car, he drove past a car that was upside down. And going into turn 1, he just had a secondary incident that ends up happening for really no reason.
Yeah, just unfortunate for the drivers. Too late on their reaction time for the caution or the wreck in front of them, and unfortunately for Shad Prescott in the 141, he falls victim to that. He's upside down. Looks like his night might be done as he goes 2 laps down into the pits.
So, night done potentially for some, maybe getting some repairs, hopefully. And still out in front, it's that 115 of John Fiddler. Just sitting there, been able to cruise out in front, not really been challenged. No one's had enough green flag laps to really even attempt to. Halfway already, coming to lap number 26. We are back to green flag racing here.
Back to green flag racing here. What you would call segment number 1. 2 stages, almost like a NASCAR type event. 50 laps count, 50 laps cautions do not count. John Fiddler holding on to the race lead as we'll have 22 laps to go here in segment number 1, basically. And after that, cautions will no longer count, as top 5 are pretty much spread out single file racing as the rest of the field is trying to get their way up there.
So field spreading itself out ever so slightly. Race leader John Fiddler has run away from Dylan Wilson just a little bit. Austin Carr still sits in 3rd. You see Mason yellow flag, back out. Let's see, where was this one on the racetrack? I'm not really sure. So maybe a little bit more of a minor half spin like we've seen a couple times tonight. I see Hirsch go slow. So maybe it was that 26 car.
Looking for the yellow.
And I'm not seeing it just yet. Oh, there it is. The 44 machine was involved, I can tell you that much. Blake Cannon is the 89 who actually went set around Thomas Coggins.
Once again, there it is.
Yeah, so it's Thomas Coggins. We end up finding another one of those situations where it's a very quick yellow, and if we're not both looking, if neither of us are looking at the right spot, we just miss it. Lap 32 is what's technically being run right now, so we're approaching that halfway marker, Tommy, where the caution laps will stop counting as we're getting ready to go green. So this is going to be interesting to see how this pans out and if the race will clean up once we cross that 50 lap marker.
Hoping this lap race cleans up just a little bit, as we've seen a lot of cautions here early on. It's Dylan Wilson, the 80 cars turned around.
Oh, big incident here. See a number of cars end up upside down. So Dylan Wilson, that's going to be a nightmare for him because he was running up amongst your top 5 in that 80 car. He's running 2nd, in fact, fighting with Austin Carr. And let's see what happened. Just gets a tap from that 69 behind, gets sent around. Basically spun in front of the field. Not much he could do. He also had the all-black machine, the number 9, technically a Tyler DeCarm involved. Get another look at it, paying attention to him. Just watch what happens here. You see that 69 and Keith Hackney just tap that rear end of the 80 car, sent him around. Well, pretty much to everyone on that upper groove, nowhere to go, really.
tough break for Dylan Wilson, the 80 car. Makes it 4 wide for the race lead right after the restart. Keith Hackney in the 69, unfortunately can't check up quite fast enough. Gets into the rear of the 80 car, sends him around. Dylan Wilson will have to restart it back tail end of the field, starting in position number 22, but he's got a lot of laps to try to get back up there towards the race lead.
So lights are out on the iRacing safety truck. We're going back to green flag racing here. John Fiddler is going to bring it. Oh, nope. Just kidding. Race control throws a very late caution. That was almost a little bit sketchy, Tommy, because that caution came out by race control right at the time people would have been thinking about picking up the throttle. So
Keith Hackney getting an EOL right there. He'll restart back in position number 23. Scheduled to start 4th. He'll go back to 23 after the incident with Dylan Wilson.
So maybe a little bit of punishment coming through, but regardless, we're back to green flag racing. That is going to promote Austin Carr up into second of the 119 of Mason Crawford. Makes a move for P2, and that's going to stack up the field behind. Is there 3 wide, 4 wide? The 00 Bergeron. Excuse me, no, that's not Bergeron. The 00 Kendall Tucker involved Drew Hershko, and we ended up getting a car around.
Another yellow on the racetrack. Not quite sure how many that is at the moment. Maybe run 10 to 12 green flag laps. It's just the nature of the beast right now. These drivers are having a tough time getting around this Limaland Motorsports Park.
Yeah, definitely having not the greatest running of it thus far. A lot of damaged race cars here through this first leg of the race. Mason Crawford, though, what a move from him to get up into that second spot right behind that 115 of John Fiddler. Absolutely fantastic move to make that stick.
I'll tell you what, Cole Newhoff in the 8 car, he started position number 20. He is up to 7th due to all the mayhem in front of him. Howard Weaver started 23rd. He's up to 9th. 2 of your biggest movers on the racetrack at the moment. Already up into the top 10 as we got 40 laps down, 60 laps remaining. So we get set to go back to green here in just a moment.
So not a lot of time left in the first segment of this race. And let's see what is actually going to end up panning out here. That 115 brings us to green.
Single file restart right here. That's going to be very tough for the drivers in the back, as this is a very short racetrack. Almost a lap down on the restart as well. But John Fiddler leads them back to the green. Mason Crawford up to second. Austin Carr third. James Eden's fourth. And Dylan Fox currently sitting in the top 5.
So still very, very tight here. They continue running their way through corners number 3 and 4. They're going to come.
Single file racing. This is probably the most spread out that you've seen right now. Probably very courtesy of that single file restart from most of the drivers. A very good decision, it looks like, on the admin's part to restart them single files. We've gotten more than a couple of laps in here on this restart.
Yeah, I think very wise decision for sure, as these guys have really spread themselves out. And this is something they maybe should have looked at to doing about 20 laps ago. But regardless, we're finally getting some green flag running in, and the field's really panned out now. The thing is, though, that starting single file like this, Tommy, 23 cars single file, that makes up pretty much an entire lap here of Limaland. And that 115 of John Fiddler, he's only about a third of a corner away from lap traffic as we're getting ready to cross that halfway threshold, coming to lap 48.
48 laps down, there'll be 52 laps remaining. John Fiddler holding on to the race lead, but Mason Crawford right there all over the bumper of John Fiddler in the 115, as well as Austin Carr in the 1. Mason Crawford looking to put on a heck of a show here for the race lead.
So lap 49 and currently getting run is, the very last one. Pretty much the last opportunity, I think, for caution laps to count just flies. Trying to see where it was. Or who it was. I'm not seeing it. Another quick spinner, it looks like, but not quite sure. Maybe I see the 96 with damage. Not sure. I think that came from earlier in the night, though. So
looks like the 89 of Thomas Coggins. He was turned around the wrong direction.
We'll spool the cameras on back.
89 of Thomas Coggins gets a tap from the 44, sends him around into the wall, and they'll bring out the yellow.
So Blake Cannon gets an EOL penalty. Let's see exactly what. This driver, the 89 machine. Let's see what happens to him. Oh yeah, you're right. 44 car just Blake Cannon just gets into the back of him, and Blake's the one who ends up getting that EOL. But regardless, we are now half distance, working 52 of 100. I'm not sure if we're restarting here on lap 51 or lap 53. Gonna get confirmation as we're going back to green flag.
Once again, single file restart as John Fiddler gets a great jump over Mason Crawford. The 119, 115, 119. Austin Carr sitting there in the third place spot. James Eden's fourth. Dylan Fox sitting in the fifth place spot. Right now, 23 drivers still remaining on the lead lap at the moment. But it shouldn't take long for John Fiddler, Mason Crawford to pull up into lap traffic.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't take long. I believe it's currently lap 54 of 100 as these guys are going to roll through corners number 1 and 2 out in front. The 119, Mason Crawford gets the outside wall. That's going to bring Austin Carr slightly into this as they roll through the center of 3 and 4 once again. And Austin just running that upper groove. Doesn't seem to really be liking it up there. You see he's been dragging the rear end of that car against the outside wall. A lot of crumpled body work. Compare that to the one car that's much, much cleaner.
Mostly all the drivers right now running right up against the wall. And you got to go back to the 07 of Howard Weaver. He's the only driver right now actually trying to run the bottom of the racetrack. He started in position 23. He's running 10th right now. He's moved up 13 spots, but he's going to move up to the top of the racetrack to try to gain some more ground.
So the 07 doing his best to work his way up forward here, up a number of spots in this one. See the two machine of Dylan Hauser just out in front of him. But right now it's John Fiddler, man who's led since the drop of the green flag. We are 56 laps down, I believe. So a couple laps did not count, of course, during that caution period. So the 115 already dealing with lap traffic. 96 going to be the first victim.
96 cars 5 laps down here at the moment. John Fiddler is going to make quick work of him and move up to the 89 of Thomas Coggins as the next victim. Fiddler's stretched his lead out just a little bit, just over a second lead over Mason Crawford. The 119 Austin Carr, James Eden's Dylan Fox still sitting in the top 5. Cole Falloway in the 18 car, he started 14th, he's up to 6th. Cole Newhoffen, Jacob Fields 8th as we got another caution on the racetrack.
So caution flies on what is lap number 59. Let's see what brought out this one. I think I saw a car that was sent around, but I clicked somewhere and I lost it. Maybe that 37 machine.
Looks like Kendall Tucker went through the infield the wrong direction.
Oh, yeah, he's still out there. Let's see what happened to this 00. Oh, and there it is. Bit of a pile up through 1 and 2. And that's going to send him around, get him back out there. And Randall Carter ends up getting the EOL penalty from that one. So we're going to be going back to green flag racing here, Tommy, on lap number 59 of 100. So 41 laps to go for these guys.
Pretty good at the moment. The 115 car really hasn't had much of a challenge the last couple of restarts from Mason Crawford. Crawford actually has gotten a big challenge from Austin Carr the last couple of restarts. If John Fiddler can still hold them off as we come up to lap 59. 41 laps remaining here in tonight's Hammerdown Labor Day Classic.
So that 115 machine in command of the field, that's really been the big difference maker here, is him controlling these restarts. He's able to stretch away. Single file as well has taken some of the pressure off. Safety truck comes down pit road. That 119 waits. Green flag flies. Doesn't time it very well again. And John Fiddler, he gets 3 car lengths before he ever gets into 1.
John Fiddler it's a great restart the last couple of times and does it once again. Mason Crawford actually able to pull in just a bit right there, just under a half seconds to lead right now for John Fiddler in the 115. As here comes Austin Carr on the inside for second.
Given a little bit more space as 115 as Mason Crawford found the outside wall that last trip around the racetrack as they still work their way through here coming down the back straightaway.
Pretty much single file racing right now, positions 1 through 10. Got to go back to around Howard Weaver and the 127 on Blake Monteulis. That's your actually closest side-by-side battle on the racetrack as we have another caution.
So another yellow here. Caution is going to fly. And I'm not seeing this one either. These little quick cautions are kind of annoying trying to find, Tommy, because they get sent around quick and they get it going back forward, and it's like, okay, who spun?
looks like maybe Tyler DeCarm in the X car.
Take a
He was
peek.
running pretty good up at the start of the race. He's back to 21st. He was turned around the wrong direction.
So 64 laps scored complete here. Trying to get, oh, yep, it was that 9 car. I just rewound it and went right to where he got sent around. So it happened in turns number 3 and 4. You're going to see that black machine who's currently in the middle of your screen. Once he gets to turn 3 and 4 on this lap, he'll get some contact. He gets a little bit from the 69 right there. And then coming through 3 and 4, that 24 car just gets into the rear of him and just sends him on around. So Lee Daniel Robinson gets the EOL here, and John Fiddler back in command of the field out front.
John Fiddler, your race leader. He's led pretty much from start to where we are now. I believe we have 64 laps down out of 100. John Fiddler back out to the race lead, but here comes Austin Carr in the one. He made it around Mason Crawford, and Austin Carr's right there on the back bumper of John Fiddler for the race lead.
Best restart we've seen from the second place starter as we're coming. Oh, Austin Carr to the outside wall. Big incident. That's a huge, huge heartbreak for Austin Carr. Fantastic situation. Time to restart, but just a little bit of contact from, I think, the car behind sends him up into the air, and oh man, that has to, I feel so bad for Austin there. I don't think he really did. Oh, you know what? Maybe there wasn't contact. He may have lost that all on his own for that one machine. There may have even been a technical failure here, Tommy, because that almost looked, I mean, the way that car speared into the outside wall is almost like he just turned that wheel fully to the right. Let's see what exactly happens here riding on board with him.
It looks like Mason Crawford was a good half a car length behind Austin Carr when this incident happened, and Carr just turns right up into the wall upside down, and unfortunately for him, he had a heck of a start on John Fiddler for that race lead. He's now in the pits. Looks like his night might be dead.
So not exactly sure what happened. Apparently getting word that Austin's screen may have disconnected, so really unfortunate, you know, to have that happen and to spear him into the outside wall like that, as we're now 65 laps down, coming to lap 66 on the restart.
Hey, what, Randy, that's probably the moment where my screen gets tossed across the room.
Yeah.
As the pace truck gets set to pull in.
The green flag back in the air for the 115 to John Fiddler. I would definitely see myself throwing some technology around the room as well. Coming to 35 laps remaining in this event for the 115 of John Fiddler. Mason Crawford now re-inherits that second spot. Look at James Edens, though, in the 52, started 13th in this race, up 10, working in that third spot.
James Edens in the 52. He's kind of a sneaky fast start at 13th up to third. He's going to look to challenge Mason Crawford for second here in just a moment. Crawford looks like he's going to get a little loose, and here comes James Edens on the inside for the second place spot.
Edens trying to get there, not quite close enough though, and he's working his way on forward, trying to reel in that 119 machine though. He's got enough time that he doesn't need to get too crazy with it though. Just needs to be patient. Plenty of time. This track, if it stays green, is going to change, and that's why the 119 hits up through the center of 3 and 4, and Eden's going to try an attempt down through the bottom of the racetrack. 119 drives it back down underneath, and he's going to hold on to the second spot for now. But now the 52 machine, preferred line to the entry of the corner, but Mason able to hold on, and Mason Crawford needs to count his lucky stripes as Edens throws another slider, and Mason's able to hold it off.
Mason Crawford's got a very loose race car at the moment, tapping the wall a couple of times, but he's able to slide it right back in front of James Edens. Meanwhile, this allows John Fiddler to stretch his race lead to over a second and a half. Count that, never mind, as we have another yellow on the racetrack.
Another caution on the racetrack, trying to see who this might have been. Currently inside of the final 30 laps to go as well. That may have been Nicholas Dofern. He seemed like the last one to get to the iRacing safety shop. No, he was honestly just trying to see where this incident happened, cycling through the field. I'm not seeing it.
Not sure. Did we have some magical piece of debris?
Perhaps. It is a possibility here. I just did see one car that kind of fishtailed that maybe might have brought.
May have been Dylan Hauser. He looked like he was on the inside, almost in the pits.
He went down there after the caution. I'm just sort of on the replay cycling through, so maybe one of our leaders.
Yes, Dylan Hauser turned around.
Okay, let's see where that happened, because that happened a little bit earlier than what I saw then. See, that's the caution getting called. Now let's see what happens to the two, as we just casually have to constantly reel the cameras back over and over. And oh yeah, there it is. Gets into that 007 machine of Jacob Fields. And a little bit of half spin once again for that 2 car, but overall, really, other than dropping a handful of spots, that should be not too bad as we're back to green flag racing.
Back to green flag racing. John Fiddler off to another great restart. We have 72 laps complete, 28 laps remaining, and we're immediately back to yellow.
I mean, the way you said that was so smooth. I see the 37 car slow. Maybe Mr. Randall Carter brought out this one. Let's see if we can guess it right the first time.
Oh, Dylan Wilson in the 80 car.
Oh, yep. The 37 was part of it, but yeah, it was the 80 who actually was really the big troublemaker there. The 37 ended up getting spun around too. Rewind the cameras back a little bit further. We should only be, I think, 72 or 73 laps scored complete after that one. And that all started with that 69 car. Pretty much just clipped the outside wall of the inner turn 3 all by himself.
I'm sorry, these cars are kind of blinking in and out back here. It's kind of a weird situation on my end. I really only saw the 80 car of Dylan Wilson. Then I saw the 37. There he goes. But very sketchy back here on my end of the replay. Did not catch that one.
So Field working himself behind that iRacing safety truck, getting ready to get the green flag. I believe 73 laps have been scored complete. So as that truck 72 down, 72 been scored complete, coming to lap 73. That 115 gets on it. We are back to green flag.
John Fiddler with another great start. James Eden's going to go on the inside of Mason Crawford. He's going to try to take over that second spot. Can't quite make the pass stick. Mason Crawford's going to hold on to second, and Eden's going to fall back to the third place line. Is there single file 1 through 5?
So single file, oh, but not for long. The 119 and the 52 are going to duke it out. Hard contact between the two of them as they're wheel to wheel. The 119 is going to reign supreme there, but look at the 18 car of Cole Falloway trying the bottom groove. 3 wide for a moment for second as James Edens falls back to P3.
Cole Falloway's going to try to make that bottom stick, but he's going to fall back to 6th and remain there for the moment, or 5th. Yeah, he's back to 6th because Cole Newhoff in the 8 car, he snuck his way into the top 5. He started 20th. He's up to 5th. He's the biggest mover of the race so far, moved up 15 positions. He's in the top 5.
And we're inside the final 25 laps to go. The caution is going to fly. Let's see, where did this one come from?
Looks like it may be on Dylan Hauser in the 2 car.
Let's see, as Dylan Hauser, who, oh, yep, indeed, he got into that 00 machine of Kendall Tucker. Let's see what exactly happened. This would have been a lap previous. You see they were fighting side by side. Almost contact there as they came off turn 2. See that 00, kind of a little bit of technical issues maybe. Comes back and right in the center of 1 and 2. Dylan tries to slide him, and that 00 just sort of gets into the back of him. Dylan's known for being one of the more aggressive drivers on the sim, and I'm not sure if sliding a driver who you know is having some technical difficulties blinking in and out is really ever the best call, Tommy.
Yeah, Dylan makes an over-aggressive move right there and pays the price for it. And unfortunately for Thomas Coggins, the 89, nowhere to go for him. Likes the 2 car of Dylan Hauser in the process. Hauser will restart 20th as we're 3/4 of the way down here in the Hammertown Labor Day Classic feature event. John Fiddler still holding on to the race lead as he's led the first 75 laps here tonight.
Oh, and the 52, James Eden is going to be fighting there for that 3rd spot very, very closely. The 119 able to stretch out a big gap because of that. You see Dylan Fox, I believe that is, throwing a big move in that 99 car. Cole Newhoffen is in the movement mix, as well as the 18 of Cole Falloway is going to fight back.
Cole Newhoffen's going to try to sneak in there as well, as there are 4 cars battling right there for that 4th place spot. As Newhoffen, as here comes Drew Hertzko on the outside, where he come from, as well as Howard Weaver. Almost a 5-car battle right there for 5th.
Approaching 20 laps to go. You see Drew Hertzko really using those tires that are kind of lying the inside of the track, trying to help that car rotate. A little bit of contact here in the mid-pack between a couple of these guys that are duking it out as we're coming towards 20 laps to go. So John Fiddler still leads the way. Mason Crawford is in second. James Edens in third. They still remain your top three. And James Edens here, Tommy, even though he had that slow restart, he is slowly, I think, reeling in these top two.
Slowly reeling him in, and the 115 of John Fiddler's got to be careful as well as he's pulling up on the lap traffic once again. I believe that's the 96 car of Nicholas Daffrin trying to lap him yet again. But Fiddler trying to work his way around is, I believe that's his teammate Mason Crawford right there. They have identical paint jobs. I'm going to guess they're teammates. Maybe not, just coincidence if not. But 1 and 2 right now is John Fiddler into the wall, and now we got a battle for the race lead.
The battle for the race lead as John Fiddler makes that slight mistake dealing with the traffic. 119. Mason Crawford is trying to pick it up here, and he's going to be able to do it as that 115 gets a little tight coming off the exit of turn 2, and he's going to make a mistake and go down to the bottom. This is going to open the door for James Edens. So John Fiddler leads this entire event pretty much 85 laps in, but one bad decision in order to dealing with that traffic drops him immediately down to P3.
Unfortunate mistake right there for Fiddler. Tries to run the bottom of the racetrack. It's freight trained by the top two drivers. And now the battle for the race lead is on between James Edens and Mason Crawford, who's been duking it out for second the last half of this race.
Coming to lap 88 right here. 87 have been scored complete as they work their way down the back straightaway, nose to tail for the race lead. Slider getting thrown by the 52. Can Mason get it back down to the bottom? Yes, he can. We've seen this be done a couple of times. Mason's going to slide the 52. Can James get it down to the bottom? No, he cannot. So the 119 is going to be able to hold on to it as Edens a little bit tight getting into the corner. He's going to ride the wall. That might bring Fiddler back into the mix.
Coming up to 10 laps to go this time. Mason Crawford holding on to the race lead, running the outside. James Edens sitting right there in second, and John Fiddler third. 3-car battle for the race lead coming around to 10 laps to go this time.
10 laps remaining in this event. James Edens still right on the tail of Mason Crawford. $1,500 going to the winner. These guys are going to be very aggressive with one another as they stroll down the front straightaway. 52 trying to get there. The 115 has dropped off just a little bit. 9 laps to go.
9 laps to go. Mason Crawford, your race leader. James Edens in the 52 wants it. Edens going to try to slide into the inside. Just not enough right there to make it stick as we have another yellow.
Caution flies with 8 laps remaining in this event. See if we can spot this one. Oh, I see that car just blatantly the wrong way in the center of 2. That's Dylan Fox.
Fox running top 5 most of this event, finds himself pointing in the wrong direction. Very unfortunate for him as he'll go a lap down. He'll be able to tag the rear of his field, but not much left for the 99 to do, but run for position at this moment.
Yep, going to be really frustrated. 8 laps remaining and to be getting sent around like that, not going to make him a happy camper. And I'll start out in front of him. The 8 machine just got the corner wrong. Cole Newhoffen. 99 really had nowhere to go. Basically gave him a hip check, and then he got a hip check from behind, and that one from behind was a lot harder than the one he gave the driver in front of him, and he ended up facing the wrong way because of it. But restart, 8 laps to go. You have Mason Crawford and James Edens, Tommy, who have been duking it out pretty much all race, and the 115 to John Fiddler, who led the bulk of this and gave the lead up at the worst possible time.
Very bad luck for John Fiddler's led pretty much, I believe, about the first 80 some odd laps of this race. Unfortunate getting into the wall and then making a bad decision to run the bottom of the racetrack as business is about to pick up as they come back to green with 8 laps to go. And what a restart by 52 of James Edens.
And what a mistake by the 119 of Mason Crawford to open that up, and the 115 of John Fiddler. He's going to get sent around, and the car that's dominated the majority of this event is going to go pretty much to the back of the field. What happened on this restart to that 115 car? I mean, first of all, what happened to the 119? Because James Edens timed that restart beautifully, and it was just, well, the 115, I thought he might have made a mistake. It all came from the 18 of Cole Falloway. Just noses into John Fiddler there. We were right on board on the restart with the number 18 machine, and Falloway, as a result of that, gets an EOL as well.
Oh, what a tough break for John Fiddler. Gets turned around by the 18 car of Cole Falloway. Very unfortunate incident right there. Falloway just could not check up in time, and around goes the 115 of John Fiddler, who dominated 3/4 of this race. And now as we get set back to go back to green, there was not a lap complete there. We'll have still 8 laps remaining, 92 laps complete, 8 laps remaining, and James Edens now looks to be scored as the race leader.
And Drew Hirsch goes 16th up to P3. Jacob Fields 15th up to 4th. Everyone in your top 5, except for Mason Crawford, started outside of the top 10 in this event. Green flag back in the air, still 8 to go.
8 laps to go, and James Edens gets a great start right there. Pulls away just a little bit from Mason Crawford. Keep your eye out on Drew Hirschko in the 3rd spot. He's going to dive down to the very bottom of the racetrack to try to take over 2nd. As we've seen with John Fiedler earlier, that may not be the fastest part of the racetrack.
Doesn't seem like it. You typically like running that upper groove here at Limaland. It was 7 to go last time, coming to 6 as they cross the stripe. So 5 to go next time. James Edens just slightly out in front of the 119 of Mason Crawford.
James Edens in the 52 car, started in the 13th starting position. He's just got 5 laps to go this time for the 52 of James Edens to take home tonight's Hammer Down $1,500 to win Labor Day Classic feature event. Mason Crawford sitting 2nd, Drew Hirschko 3rd, Jacob Fields 4th, Tyler Ducharme back up to 5th after a couple of race incidents, but James Edens coming around to 4 laps to go this time for the race win.
Coming to 3 as they head through 3 and 4. Hirschko is still trying to run the bottom. He's doing okay down there, maintaining pace, but he's not reeling them in. Caution flies, I believe, with 3 laps remaining. Let's see if we can identify this one. I see a car slow on the entry into turn 3. That was Keith Hackney.
And Keith Hackney right there. I believe he's going to get a little assistance from the 2 car of Dylan Hauser. Maybe a lot of assistance from the 2 car of Dylan Hauser, and unfortunately for the 69 of Hackney, his night may be finished.
Yep, and I think this might be Dylan Hauser. I said he's known for being a character in these cars. He is one of the more aggressive drivers, and if you sort of, I don't know, I definitely sort of think that he may have, I don't want to say that was intentional, but he did sort of keep his foot planted with a car on the hood all the way down the back straightaway.
Very aggressive driving from the 2 car of Dylan Hauser. It's hard to not argue with the replay of that one, as he was still full speed ahead down the front straightaway.
So 3 laps remaining here on this one. Lights out in the iRacing safety truck. What is going to happen? Is James Edens going to lead them to green here for the Hammer Down Labor Day Classic? 3 laps to go, and Hirschko's fighting for 2nd.
Drew Hirschko makes a diving attempt down there for 2nd, and James Edens going to pull away as he's going to come around to 2 laps to go this time. 2 more times around the racetrack for James Edens in the 52.
2 to go, and that 119 finds the outside wall a little bit. That might give Hirschko a slight advantage. Caution's going to fly with 2 laps remaining. They might stretch these last couple laps out on us.
Drivers do not want to go home just yet, and this may be the 2 car of Dylan Hauser. Oh, looks like maybe a little incident between the 69 and the 2 car of Hauser. Maybe a little aggression from the previous caution.
Let's see what exactly happens here. You see that 2 car? Yeah, you might be right on that one. Maybe just a little bit, as Hauser ends up on his lid. So, yeah, a little bit of a send there from the 69 car. Little, that might be a little bit of vengeance. I'm not a fan of that, given how late in the race was, bringing out a caution like that. But at the same time, I'd probably be pretty hot if I was a 69 too.
Yeah, tough break for Keith Hackney. Started in the top 5, had a pretty fast car throughout the night, but a couple of late race incidents between him and the 2 car is going to send him back to the end of the field, but he'll be able to tag the rear and try to finish this race under the lead lap. And James Edens in the 52 is going to come around the next time and go back to green.
Yep, green flag, 2 laps remaining for the 52 of James Edens. Fight for 2nd is going to be somewhat close as Hirschko tries the bottom once again. Coming through 3 and 4. White flag waits at the iRacing starter stand for James Edens. And the $1,500 to win Hammer Down Labor Day Classic looks like it's likely to go to the purple and black machine of James Edens. He gets a fantastic run down the back straightaway, and James Edens from 13th on the grid. He is going to be $1,500 richer at the end of tonight. James Edens has to be a very, very excited man as he has come from deep in this field to steal a win.
What a drive by the 52 of James Edens. Couple of lucky breaks. along the way, but that's what it takes in some of these big races like this. How about that from the 52 of James Edens? 13th to 1st. Excellent drive from Mason Crawford as well, who was right there in the thick of it the whole time. Started in 6th, worked his way up to 2nd early on in the race, and pretty much held it there. Led a few laps, but what a drive by James Edens in the 52.
So due to the format of this event, things have gotten a little bit screwy with the post-race results, so I will not be able to show them just yet, but I will confirm that James Edens is the winner. I believe Mason Crawford was 2nd, as Mr. James Edens is going to burn him down. You can already see right there, the overlay is telling us he finished in 12th. Once again, they sort of had to do this, the format to make this work a little bit unique. With that 52 machine, a very, very happy camper as he is going to burn him down.
As well he should, as a big-time win, $1,500 richer for James Edens tonight, taking home the series win for the Hammertown Racing Series Labor Day Classic presented by Team VLR. Very impressive drive. We'll see if we can't get him and a few of these other drivers down here for our interview.
Yep, that will be indeed what we do. Let's see if we can get the man, the myth, the legend, James Edens down here. Find him in the list. I don't see him in the server. Is he in the server?
Hang on, I'm going to pull it down here just a second.
Might be hiding from me here. Oh, there he is. There he is. So the winner of tonight, driver of the 52 car, James Edens. James, you came from deep, deep, deep in this field, starting in 13th. You end up stealing the victory away from John Fiddler and Mason Crawford. How's it feel to be $1,500 richer?
Oh, that's a sigh of relief, honestly. That was a stressful 100 laps, for sure. Definitely most stress I've been on iRacing in a long, long time.
And now talking about this race here at Limaland, I mean, it's sort of the race of kind of two halves, definitely for sure. You had the first 50 laps, caution filled, and because the caution laps count, it took a lot of laps off the board. But we, of course, had the switch during, towards the end of that kind of first segment from double file restarts to single file. How stressful was it knowing that when you got out near the front of the field, you were only about 4 to 5 laps away from lap traffic at any time?
That was actually the least of my concerns. I was just more worried about navigating the bumps down the straightaway and keeping the car out of the wall from getting damaged. The wall was really rough on people tonight, and I just did my best to stay out of it for 100 laps.
Now, this, of course, was the very, very first experience people had with this new build that iRacing has just unleashed today. What's your kind of first opinion of doing, a really, really long late model race here at Limaland? Limaland is one of those tracks that typically got top dominant. We saw that once again tonight. Well, do you think the surface, with some of the changes they made, what's your sort of opinion on it after the first kind of big test it's going to be getting seen?
The preliminary servers, we were pretty much all around the bottom all night. And then we came in here and the bottom was already slicked off and it was all around the top. It's definitely a good balance, for sure. I know I saw Drew was back there running the bottom, coming through the field. So, I mean, the racing is definitely, it's a big step in the right direction. So hopefully they keep it going.
Well, let's hope so. Congratulations, James. Fantastic finish here today. Before we let you go, winner of this Hammer Down Labor Day Classic presented by VLR, who gets it done for you in that number 52 car?
I got to thank the guys at the Bar and Grill. I've been racing with them since I started sim racing. They've always been good sport. Blake Derflinger paid my entry fee. I wasn't even sure if I was going to run because I didn't want to shell up the money. So big shout out to him. And iRacing baseline setup got that win tonight.
Well, congratulations to the iRacing baseline setup. Who says you need to have a bunch of testing time here, Tommy? You just need to load a baseline and walk away with it.
Well, these guys, to be fair, these guys did not have a lot of time to build one, to be honest with you. Just a couple of hours removed from that brand new build that these guys just released today. But that was a heck of a drive on a baseline setup by James Edens. Let's see if we can't get Mason Crawford down here, a second place runner-up finish. Thoughts on tonight's win?
Yep, I kidnapped him in that 119 machine, and you're stood by it with him, Tommy.
All right, Mason Crawford in the 119 comes up with P2 tonight. Mason, how's the car? How was the track? And
the car was terrible. The front end was bouncing off the ground, and I mean, it was a handful.
All right, you get up to the lead after the incident with John Fiddler right there. How was that battle between you and James Edens? What was going through your mind?
I just knew I had to, hold the top line from him, but kind of spun the tires a little on the restart, and he got a good run on the inside, and the caution came out. So we lost the lead, but I was thinking maybe if I just blocked the top, I could hold on and get a win.
All right, iRacing came out with a brand new build today with the track updates and the late models. What was your take on how the track was and how the car handled with this new build?
It was nothing like we had planned for. It got way slicker than it has in the past couple days planning for the race and getting a setup correct for it. I felt really loose, and the car was pretty much uncontrollable, honestly.
Oh man, I gotta say you drove a heck of a race, holding on to second pretty much the entire time. Once you've found your way up there, put on a great race with John Fiddler for a little bit, and then with James Edens as well. Anybody want to give a shout out here and thank for tonight's runner-up finish?
I just want to thank my girlfriend Joy and my brother Jason for supporting me.
All right, well, Mason Crawford, once again, congratulations tonight on your second place finish in the Hammerdown Labor Day Classic presented by Team VLR.
Thank you, sir.
So, with that, next driver in line was going to be the 26 of Drew Hirschko. We're going to kidnap him down here, drag him on down to the interview channel, make sure he's not saying anything questionable, and then drag him on in. Drew, you end up with this pretty solid third-place finish tonight in that number 26 machine. We've been seeing you have good runs in the that World Championship, of course, the World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series. You're, I think, one of the bigger names, I think, to ask, what's this new build like? What's the dirt like? What's the car like?
Well, first, it feels really good. Just with a little bit of time that we had today, it was, testing obviously here a lot, but I got a chance to run Kokomo a little bit. One of the things that I was just actually saying yesterday was that the car felt like it was like gliding on top of the surface a little bit, which wasn't an issue. It didn't really affect the racing too much, but now it feels like, you could feel whenever you get on the gas, it's like the tires are digging in, and you can get a little bit more traction if you catch the fresh stuff. So it's been really good so far, day one, and I'm sure there'll be a little hot fix that'll come out, but day one's pretty good.
And now for you, Drew, you started deep in this field in 16th. How did it feel knowing you were able to drive your way up 13 spots to a solid podium finish? You have to be happy with that.
No question. Especially against this field, it started out the night with 120 cars of the best people that the best drivers iRacing has to offer. And thanks to Team VLR and Hammerdown for putting this on. It hopefully was a good show. From where I started, and actually going back to the preliminaries, I screwed up in my heat and ended up in a B main and had to transfer out of there and then get a transfer spot to this big race. So from where all that happened to finish third is truly just unbelievable. I can't thank the team, Elite 7 Racing, enough. All the guys, we had a bunch of guys in the show, so a good showing for everybody, and it was a good night.
Well, thanks for joining us, Drew. Congratulations once again on the win. Before we, for the third place finish. It probably feels like a win. Before we
no doubt.
Before we let you go, who gets it done for you, Drew?
Again, the team, Elite 7 Racing, all the guys that are on there, a bunch of guys in the show again tonight. So for a small field and to have as many guys in the show as we did, it was a good night. So thanks to all those guys. True Form Race Products, Justin Chance, check them out. True Form Race Products, nice sunglasses, nice products for your race cars, and then Water Truck Productions, it does all of the paints and everything. It's a little thing that I run for doing videos and stuff like that. Again, thanks to VLR, Hammerdown, Randy, Tommy, you guys, and RaceSpot for putting this on, letting everybody watch it, and have a good night.
Well, there he was, third place finisher on the night, Mr. Drew Hirschko. And the last interviewee of tonight, going to be stood by with Tommy Rope, is going to be Tyler Ducarme.
All right, Tyler Ducarme, a bit of an up and down night. You started, You started 10th. You were up there running in the top 3, 4, 5 there for a little bit, and you went back to the back and had to work your back up to the front. What was your take on the car and the track tonight with this new build?
It seemed like it was kind of top dominant. They started the track off with a starting track state. I think it kind of glitched, and we got an old track state from last build. And we had to run the top there for a while, and I wasn't very good. I knew it wasn't going to be, and I got caught up in someone else's mess there early on and had to go to the back. and then I got turned around again and went to the back again, and I found Drew was rolling the bottom pretty good there, and I said, screw it, I'm not going to the top and just follow these guys. So I tried running the bottom, and I started passing cars. They would wreck, and I'd get one. I wrecked, I'd get one. And I kept picking them off on the restart, and we finally, I don't know how I got up to where I did, but I started picking them off on the restarts, and we got up to 4 somehow. I don't know how we did that. I mean, if we had more laps, I think I could have probably run up there with them guys, but considering what we had for a night, I'll take 4th. I just can't thank these Dead Zone Racing, Zach Leonardi, and all them guys, and the Wet Bandit gang for all they do for us.
All right, tonight started out with 120 drivers. You drive home with the solid place 4th finish. It's got to be pretty satisfying to know that you beat out 116 of iRacing's top drivers here tonight.
Yeah, you know, I came into the night kind of nervous about it because I knew I'm not very good here, and I just knew I got a good qualifying time there, and I started on the pole of my heat, so I knew it would kind of be not an easy night, but I did myself a favor there and won the heat race and did all that and got to the front there and did what I had to do to qualify in. And it sucks that Zach didn't make it, but I mean, he was busting on me all week saying I wasn't gonna make it, but I guess what kind of karma is, I don't know, but yeah, we had a good car there, and just unfortunate. I think we could have had a shot to win if we didn't have to go through all the, going to the back to the front twice. So yeah, overall good night. Hats off to VLR for putting on another great show. I wish the track didn't glitch. I think it would have been racier, but is what it is, and just what a night.
Well, Tyler, once again, congratulations on your finish here tonight and your excellent run. Anybody want to give a shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
I give a shout out to Dead Zone Racing, everyone over there, Zach, Casey, Houston, everyone who puts that whole deal on over there. The Wet Bandit gang, shout out to them for coming on board. Me and Zach. Too bad Zach couldn't make it, but Sim Racing Authority, Dead Zone. I've said Dead Zone already. SRA Motorsports. There's just too many people to thank. Diamond Construction, everyone who sponsored me in the Pro Series. Hats off to VLR and everyone for putting this on. Hats off to you guys for doing the awesome broadcast like always. And yeah, hopefully we can come out and run again strong.
All right, once again, that was Tyler Ducharme, your 4th place finisher here tonight for the Hammerdown Labor Day Classic presented by Team VLR. Randy, anybody else you want to give an interview to, or?
I think we are good getting the bulk of the top 5, and I think it's pretty much time to close this thing out, Tommy. Before we do, closing thoughts. I know we've had several of these VLR special events, and this one was, I think, maybe a little bit more caution-filled than some of the ones we've seen. The Spring Fling was pretty clean. That's the most recent one I've done, but a lot of drama here tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers in the community react to that. And, of course, what we see with the upcoming surface models and how drivers adapt to that. Not only here in the late models, of course, you have the modifieds that a lot of these guys race as well, but really for the big 2 series that happen with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car and Late Model Series.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to, looks like iRacing did a really heck of a job with this new track build. A lot of incidents tonight, a lot of cautions, but when we did see Green Flag Racing, we saw a lot of side-by-side, great battling throughout the field with a lot of these drivers. You saw Drew Hertzko right there running the bottom of the racetrack. You saw people running the top of the racetrack. When we had Green Flag laps, we had a good race. And hats off to iRacing for trying to give us a better product, and look forward to building these setups and hopefully running with these guys later in the future.
Well, actually, we're going to do one more before we close this thing out, and I'm going to kidnap him.
Oh.
And we are stood by with the man, the myth, the legend, who I think may have just been in the middle of a bit of a meeting, but we're stood by with KT King. I'm under specific instructions from Blake Durflinger to interview you. So how are you doing, KT? Thoughts on the event?
My heart rate is still pounding. My anxiety's still through the roof, but I'm doing good.
Well, what's your... The event was a little bit more drama-filled than I think we're used to seeing. I remember the Spring Fling. There were some cautions, but, I think we had like a 40 or 50-lap run in that thing. Of course, here at Limaland, bit of a bull ring, and some drama is expected. Did the race kind of go how you suspected it would?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be tough. I mean, it's always going to be tough. You get 120 guys out there who are really good, way better than I'll ever be at this thing. and you know, you tell them there's six grand on the line. I mean, they're going to race hard, and I think we all understand that. But I always, you know, I can't say enough about the admin team that we have. You know, that makes it at least somewhat easy. I mean, Stephen Calavoda, Trevor Brownlee, Blake Brown. I mean, Nate Anderson, all those guys. I mean, it wouldn't be possible without the whole crew involved in this thing.
Now, I know you guys at VLR, you tend to do these special events. It's almost a seasonal thing. You had the spring fling. You have this here in the fall. You had, of course, the Jason Johnson Memorial that happened. That was a little bit more of, obviously, some unfortunate things that happened with Jason losing his life. But, you know, you guys kind of spread the love through the cars. You've used the late model a couple times. You used the sprint car, of course, for Jason. We've got you know, the next real kind of holiday that comes up, I think that has a big race associated with it, has a car that's not really used. Can we expect maybe a VLR Turkey Night?
Yeah, I think it's the 11th annual Turkey Gobbler, little street stock action, hopefully from Lanier. So that's going to be an interesting one.
But surely we need a big one with the midgets, now that we have the midgets in the sim. And
God, I'd love it. You know, there's going to be a few other things coming up too. We're going to be maybe running a little special non-wing race at Kokomo. We've even got another little charity race in the works that I can't quite announce yet, but I can say that all the veterans will appreciate. So we've always got things brewing.
Well, I would definitely be a fan of a non-winged race. Non-winged action is 10 out of 10 in my book. But thank you to KT for all the work you guys have done. I know this is a little bit hectic in the closing stages, but you know, especially today, I know a lot of things kind of came together all at once, and I know that you guys who were organizing this were stressing out. But thanks again for putting it on, and as always, it was fun. It was drama filled, but it was fun.
Yeah. Before I go, I want to say just a huge thanks to Robert Bellinger at Hammerdown Racing. If you're out there watching, or if you're an iRacer, if you need good racing any night of the week, Hammerdown has you covered. Whether they've got an asphalt series and the super late models, and they've got dirt 6 nights a week, so those guys run it all. That guy is, you know, the big thing why this is happening tonight, and it wouldn't be possible without Robert Bellinger. So just a huge thanks to that guy and all the work that they do at Hammerdown.
Yep. All right. Thanks once again, KT, and we hope to be a part of any of these upcoming events, maybe some non-winged action at Kokomo, the charity action, and of course the VLR Turkey Night Grand Prix that I just told you were going to put on.
Love you, Randy.
Love you too, KT. And he seems to be pretty happy, I think, Tommy, all things considered, given what happened with the event tonight. And of course, it wasn't too bad. It was, you know, there was some wrecks, but I think overall, you put 24 of the best on a quarter-mile racetrack for 100 laps, you're going to see some bent-up race cars at the end.
All these drivers win a tenth or less of each other in lap times. You're going to see wrecks happen like that all the time. It's just what happens when you put the best of the best against the best of the best. You're just going to see very close, tight racing, and that's what we saw tonight. Unfortunately, it caused a few more cautions than we usually see here at Team VLR, but that's the product of the racing, and that's what we got. But in the end, we saw an excellent battle for the race lead, and it was very exciting, and I was very happy to be up here in the booth with you, Randy.
Yep, it was fun working with you, Tommy. I think we've had kind of different booth teams. Ben's done a couple of these, and now we got you and me working one. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in and being a part of the Hammerdown Labor Day Classic presented by VLR. Huge thanks to everyone who's associated behind the scenes. Tommy for working this with me. Hugo for the camera work he does for all the oval side of things. Andy Werner, who works on these beautiful overlays you see on RaceSpotTV. Simon Grossman for all their work at Apgineering for the ATVO. They do the back... let's say the background coding of the overlays, and Nick Tisson, who works on our live timing. So huge shout outs to all of those people. We hope to see you for the next big event next time. With this being week 13, it's a little bit slow for us on RaceSpotTV, but you can expect all your normal programming coming in the coming weeks. So until then, we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.